All right, hey, Gabe DeArmond here. I'm about to add Mitchell Forde in. There's Mitchell Forde right there. We are here after a little bit of consternation whether we would be here or not, but we are as I try to straighten my camera out and eat dinner at the same time. Basically, Mizzou and South Carolina, about 5 minutes away from kickoff. For some reason now I'm looking at Mississippi State and Georgia. I assume that's the same for everybody. But okay, we got some people here. We got some people hit like. That's great. Guys, anytime you want to start commenting, we're going to kind of reset you on what's happening. And first of all, apologize for you watching us eat dinner because that's how these things go. So, Mitch, let's run down kind of what we know as far as who's actually at the game in Columbia, South Carolina.
Scholarship players, and we believe 4 of those will not play unless it is an emergency. So technically under the 53-man roster, but they're going to play. First of all, defensive coordinator Ryan Walters is not there. He's in COVID-19 quarantine. David Gibbs, the cornerbacks coach, is going to serve as defensive coordinator. Grant O'Brien, one of the off-field analysts, will be the 10th assistant. He was the assistant when Charlie Harbison was out a while back. As for players, it's not maybe as bad as you might have thought when you hear 11 guys out, but there will still be some holes. We've got Kobe Whiteside, Xavier Delgado, Larry Borum, and Jatorian Trajan Jeffcoat all made the trip, but apparently will not play unless in case of emergency. And then Sean Robinson, J.J. Hester, Boo Smith. Let me see if I can remember them all. Adam Sparks, Ish Burdine, Stacy Brown, Johnny Walker, Cy Martin, and Keon Wills are all not there because they're in quarantine.
You did much better than I would have, yeah.
Yeah, this counts as the suspension for Dylan Spencer and Markel Odsi as well. They're not there, and this counts as the suspension for them. They both were suspended for half a game because of the Florida brawl. They're not there. This counts for their suspension, but they won't play. Chad Bailey is there and will play the full game. The SEC agreed to basically allow him to take his suspension at a time when Mizzou is less impacted by COVID. So I think that about covers it.
Eric wanted to know why Odsi is out for the whole game. So basically, here's the situation. He was going to be suspended for the first half. And earlier this week, Eli Drinkwitz basically said, we tried to figure out all along last week when the game was canceled. He said the suspensions didn't impact the game. Well, we couldn't figure that out. Well, as it turns out, a couple of the suspended players were in the COVID-19 protocol. That is Markel Odsi and Dylan Spencer. We're not saying those guys tested positive. We don't know. We just know they're involved in the protocol. Right. So we want to be real clear about that. We don't know who's tested positive, who's in contact tracing, all that, although they did say Ryan Walters was in contact tracing. So anyway, these guys are not playing tonight regardless of the suspension, but it still counts as their suspension. Chad Bailey, like Mitch said, is playing tonight. His suspension will be pushed off, I'm assuming, to the Arkansas game, but we really don't know that. I think it largely depends kind of on what Missouri's numbers look like.
Yeah, I think basically, Eli Drinkwitz appealed to the league and said, we can get right to 53 healthy players if you let us play Chad Bailey. And they're like, all right, if that's the difference, yeah, whatever. Right. Play Chad Bailey. He can be suspended.
And Chad Bailey still may not actually play.
Right. Yeah, they could also get away with, they might not put him in the game in the first half if they don't need to. But in case they have a linebacker go down, he's available.
Yeah, so... again, we're in the middle of dinner. Hey, you guys know how it goes. Like, the next show I'm going to be drinking, maybe more than I was planning on drinking 2 hours ago. So,
pizza.
Yeah, Mitch has pizza. I just got a sandwich and pretzels. So, that's what we're doing. T-Rise says Missouri looks like LSU tonight. All I saw was the yellow helmets. But I do know that I think these are the same costumes Missouri wore at Alabama a couple years ago, and Gary Pinkel was at the game saying Missouri looked like LSU in them. So,
definitely similar.
Yeah. Okay, so if this goes the way the last couple times we've done this have gone, Mitch is probably already midway through the first quarter watching the game, and I'm waiting for it to start on TV.
Not quite. I'm just battling not to spill on myself, which is a risk.
At least if you do, who cares? I mean,
that's true.
We don't even know if you're wearing pants at this point. So, Patrick says he saw in Power Mizzou that Johnny Walker might be transferring. Any truth to that? Look, I checked. At this point, no. I'm not saying it's impossible. Who knows? But the person I checked with hadn't heard anything about it. Johnny Walker is one of the guys listed as not on the trip because of the COVID protocols. So I have no idea. I mean, we don't think so, but that doesn't mean it's impossible because honestly, on Wednesday, we thought that Ryan Walters was coaching in this game, and he wasn't. And look, I want to be clear. I asked about Ryan Walters. Who were they supposed to play last weekend? Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd heard a rumor about Ryan Walters Wednesday of that week. And I said, look, I heard something about Ryan Walters maybe being involved in the contact tracing. Is this true? I was told I can't confirm that. I wasn't told it wasn't true, but was just told they couldn't confirm it. So then this week, we sat on a Zoom call anticipating talking to Ryan Walters for an hour, and we didn't. And we were just told, hey, couldn't find him. Well, they couldn't find him because he wasn't there because he's in contact tracing. So whatever. But all I'm saying is it is possible for things to happen that we aren't told about.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, I just
not that we're bitter.
Kickoff, so,
what?
I don't know if you're where you're at with that, but South Carolina's starting with the ball.
Yeah, and, I saw that. The guy that's not Connor Shaw but plays quarterback for them now, I'm looking at a shot at.
Yeah, Colin Hill.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of guys that aren't Connor Shaw in the last few years. Oh, wow, that was a tricky little play that didn't work at all.
That was like a shovel pass flea flicker.
Yeah, I don't know that the second pitch was part of the play design, though.
The running back almost just looked like he was like, well, I'm not going anywhere, and I don't want the ball anymore, so he threw it back to the quarterback.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get a look at the starting defensive line. I know Akil Byers and Darius Robinson are out there. It looks like Cannon York at defensive end, walk-on, and then Trey Williams. So, wow, yeah.
So is Chris Turner? Do we know what's happening with him?
Nope, I've not seen him unless he's just backing up Trey Williams. But
they're going to throw a flag? Yeah, I thought they probably were.
Yeah.
That was number one, that Bledsoe. If he had really good coverage if he just turned around. Breakfast King of Loyola made his lucky chili for this game, so I guess we can blame him if Missouri loses. That was just unnecessary.
Yeah. I was actually I didn't actually get a fantastic look at it because I was typing about the defensive line.
Okay.
You all don't realize that during the game, like when we're there, I'm actually typing more than I'm kind of watching the game. I just kind of glance up every now and again.
It's a good thing there's 15 of us there usually because we can always ask somebody else what happened because one of us invariably is not looking.
Right, and when you're there, the TV broadcast is behind, so you look up at that and get an idea of what happened a minute ago right in front of you.
Okay. Marcus is asking, with so many guys out for both teams, does that favor the offense or the defense? I think it favors the offenses because I think more guys are out on defense, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think South Carolina had most of their opt-outs on defense, and Missouri has most of its players out on defense. So I would agree. I also I caught a glimpse. I couldn't tell who all the cornerbacks are, but I caught a glimpse of Jalen Carlisle in there already. So we knew he was going to be kind of the third corner in place of Ish Burdine and Adam Sparks. Yeah. I don't know if they were in a 3-cornerback set or if he started over one of the two others, but it looked like
Darius Robinson is back.
He is. He's back. He started.
So here's an interesting number. I'm looking at the stat feed right now. Colin Hill is 1 for 1 for -3 yards, which somehow equates to a quarterback rating of 74.8.
Wow.
I mean, I guess by not getting it intercepted and actually completing it to your guy, you get credit. I don't know, but that seems weird to me.
It does. Isaiah Maguire making a play.
Michael wants to know where he can watch this game. It's on the SEC Alternate channel. Go to ESPN.com/watch on your computer. That's how I'm watching it. Or if you have the ESPN app on a smart TV, go into that.
Yep. I'm in the ESPN app right now.
And that's that's the most explanation I can
give. My TV is very bad, but I also have it on an iPad at the same time. So I'm watching the game in two places at once, but the iPad's about 2 plays ahead.
Boy, Shi Smith just got sandwiched by 3 guys and
it doesn't look
did
like
not
he's
immediately
really
get up.
That. Looks like
Okay,
Bledsoe,
so
Gillespie, and Bolton.
So while we're in basically
Yeah, he's down.
Yeah. While we're in basically
That would be a big loss.
We're in basically an injury timeout here for a minute. So Patrick is asking if there's quite a bit of talking in the press box. I would just say we entertain ourselves very much during games, right?
It depends. You
It's
can't
not
be
necessarily
too loud.
all watching the game.
No, it's not like you can't like yell or really exclaim. There is some chatter. There's definitely some chatter.
Yeah.
We're familiar enough with this team that we there's a lot of inside jokes, I would say.
Did it look to you like Shai Smith might have got knocked out there?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. The same thing. Concussion protocol.
I mean, Gillespie and look, we're gonna have to see a better replay. It didn't look illegal to me. I think it was okay. Like I think he hit him.
Oh no, I didn't think it was illegal. I think he just got sandwiched, like you said.
Yeah. Joe M doesn't want the turnover robe. I kind of want the turnover robe.
Oh, are you kidding me? I want the turnover robe and a fist fight. Again, both. I want them both.
The fist fight made the game last a really long time.
That's true. And it probably wouldn't be as novel if it happened the second time. Like, it wouldn't be quite as entertaining to write about.
Which press box has the best spread? Look, we're just going to tell you guys, it's not Missouri. South Carolina is actually pretty good.
Was it? I vaguely remember that being. Alabama's was good. I know that. Mm-hmm. I remember getting some. Well, the best was the Liberty Bowl. They catered Rendezvous. That was big time. But Alabama had some good barbecue. I'm trying. I don't know. They all kind of run together in my mind, to be honest. Wyoming, I remember, had no food. We had to buy tacos from a Mexican vendor.
That was a disaster. Mitch, just FYI, apparently your 50 freestyle record at Mizzou was just broken. So I did not know you held the school record, but if you did, it was just broken.
Yeah, I was about 2 seconds away from the school record. So,
okay.
But I'd be stunned that anyone went faster than I ever did.
Okay, Forde is asking us. Tough season for Forde, by the way. Asking us score predictions. I picked Missouri 37-27. I don't know what you picked.
By the way, thanks to Dak Prescott for joining us on this game, even when Mississippi State's playing. That shows how good we are.
He doesn't have anything else to do.
That's true. I picked Mizzou 38-30. Like you said earlier, probably a little higher scoring game with some of the defensive absences, and I like Mizzou by about a touchdown.
Okay. Glad to see Alex Schiffer on here, who is saying that you are too dressed up while his avatar is him in a shirt and tie. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to be professional. I'm doing my job out here. Also, cutting away to Shai Smith, he definitely looks concussed to me.
Okay, yeah. I'm currently watching Jay Billis. I think I'm about 10 seconds behind you, but yeah, there's not Will Muschamp on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't appear to really be walking on his own super well. Okay, so hang on. Justin Ferguson has already watched the 4th down play, and I just watched the 3rd down play.
I've watched the 3rd down play. I'm watching South Carolina line up for 4th down. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to predict Missouri gets a stop.
Me too. There is Chris Turner in the game, so yeah, he's healthy in there. He just didn't start.
Yes, and that was just a drop by Kevin Harris. That hurts.
By the way, I've recently discovered, what makes every sandwich better is if you put horseradish on it.
Oh, that's a good call. I like horseradish mustard.
Me too.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
Breakfast King of Loyola, which is, by the way, I need to know the history of this name. That's like the Sausage King of Chicago or something. I like that name, but it says Justin Ferguson is about 10 minutes ahead of him and the rest of us. I feel like Justin Ferguson has already watched this game before, and we're just catching up. All right, so Logan Christopherson, 51. Is that Zeke Powell?
It is 51 is Zeke Powell, and I
Nico Hay is also out there, so they've got two tight ends.
I couldn't see if it was Luke Griffin at left guard. I assume it is, but
I'm not sure. 54, is that Luke Griffin?
That's Luke Griffin. That is.
He made a pretty nice block there. He stuffed his guy, but Larry Roundtree didn't have anywhere to go. 76 is Javon Foster.
Just had on second down here, Barrett Bannister line up in the backfield. That's interesting. He caught a pass.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Just by the way, for receivers, I see Towski Dove and Kiki Chisholm and Barrett Bannister all on the field right now. Barrett Bannister definitely came in after that first play, so I assume he replaced Jalen Knox. So there you go.
Yeah. We could play a game of name who's playing defensive back for South Carolina.
Yeah. The only one I knew coming into the game was J.C. Horn, and I know he's not out there. So.
Right. Yeah, he's the only guy I knew too.
And Missouri's going to punt the ball right back, it appears, unless they go for it here.
I don't see any reason to go for it there.
No, they're not going for it.
Justin Ferguson, the DirecTV ad. Appreciate that. I don't think that receiver was really open, but it also wasn't a very good throw on third down.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
Okay, so the breakfast king of Loyola is also the sandwich king. Mitch, are you familiar with whatever Branston pickle is?
Well, I was watching the punt not be downed in bounds. I think they're going to call that a touchback. I have not heard of the Branston pickle. I like most pickles, but it's got to be dill or like spicy dill. I don't like the bread and butter sweet stuff. That's no good.
Where were we when you got the pickle tray and you were so angry about it?
It's South Carolina.
Was it?
At Columbia 2 years ago. Yes, it was. That one, I mean, there was no pickles. It was just like pickled cabbage and pickled onions and it cost like $16. It was terrible.
If Schiffer's still on here and wants to chip in discussing his beverage choice that evening, that'd be fine as well.
Yeah, that was an adventure.
That was a night. Yeah, so. It just hit me when Missouri punted. I had to think about who their punter was because that's how long it's been since I've seen this team play a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I have found myself a few times during the course of this week just like forgetting things that you would obviously remember, like what game did that happen in, or like who did that, because you're just so out of the routine of a season. We spend so much more time covering COVID protocols than football games this year.
We spend like 6 days trying to figure out if they're going to play, and then on the rare occasion they do, we're like, oh, I don't know. I guess we'll talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. I was thinking, well, I mean, it's interesting to me. You guys might not care at all, but I was thinking about this earlier this week with Keegan, who worked for us for a while. Like, he and I met when I reached out to him on Twitter asking if Mike Bobo was being rumored for the Missouri job back when Missouri hired Barry Odom. I thought Mike Bobo actually would have made a lot of sense at that point. They did not, I don't think, really look at him. But
no, that would have worked out better for Mike Bobo probably than being fired by Colorado State.
Might have worked out better for Barry Odom too. Mm-hmm. So is that a touchback? Or Kevin's asking, or are they on the 20 or on the half-yard line?
I assume it was a touchback. I know the college rule is a little different than the NFL, but
the ball went in the end zone.
So in college, as long as you it's like a catch. As long as you establish possession and 2 feet in bounds, or I guess maybe even 8 foot in bounds. I don't know. It's not a touchback, or you can down it, but I don't know. He was flying in there pretty fast. I didn't feel like he established possession, but I don't really know. I don't know the rules.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
I can tell you that. Well, actually, no, I can't. I can tell you that Stat Broadcast says that punt was down at the 1. So
okay.
That might have been down at the 1.
How about flashing back to the Connor Shaw game? That seems kind of cruel and unusual this early.
Yeah. That was a tough one for Mizzou. Are they going to show the doink? I don't think they are. That's if you're going to flashback, you might as well show the doink.
I mean,
it's too nice.
Yeah, that was the fastest I've ever heard Mizzou, really maybe any stadium, go quiet.
Yeah.
Schiffer does not want to weigh in on our night in Columbia. Oh, Bob Douglas is back. Mitch, he beat COVID.
I saw. I was worried. I actually was waiting to bring it up, but we hadn't heard from him since he told us he had COVID. I've been thinking about you, Bob. I appreciate it. I know you've been thinking about me.
Everybody. Yeah, everybody is excited to see Bob here. I'm just catching up on some of these comments. Okay. So T-Rye is not a fan of the flashback either. So,
yeah.
I mean, at least there is some reason they showed it. Like Connor Shaw is coaching in this game. It's not just like they were just like, hey, let's show this game that really pissed off all the Missouri fans.
Yeah.
I still maintain, though, that game didn't cost him anything.
No, it actually ended up not. It was just disheartening at the time, obviously.
I mean, cost him an undefeated regular season, but.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so, Justin is so far ahead. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was watching the end of the second down play when that comment popped up.
Same. Well, I think you and I are right about the same. Like, there's 25 on the play clock right now.
Okay, yeah, I'm watching at 20 right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're right about the same. Justin is watching in the future. Old school, I still have cable land. So.
Yeah, well, I maintain even more now that Shi Smith is out what I said. I don't remember if it was on this broadcast or the end of the pregame show, but that, the key for Missouri now is just don't let Kevin Harris beat you, because Colin Hill, I don't think he really scares anybody. Shi Smith's a good receiver, and with him out, I don't think you're too. If he beats you, so be it. But just don't let Kevin Harris run wild, which they obviously haven't so far.
I think Jarvis Ware is a pretty good cornerback, and he's having a solid year. The taunting wears me out, man. Like, that's good. You got to stop. But,
Well, it's just kind of his thing at this point. I mean, it's not going anywhere, I would say. So let's see. Is that Cade Musser back to return? Well, it doesn't matter because he didn't return it.
Cade Musser, who I interviewed this week?
You did. Pretty exciting.
It is him. Yeah.
Yep.
Got him, not Ryan Walters. Again, not bitter. All right, so you get the ball on the 46-yard line. Like, there's got to be points here.
I would think so. Yeah.
Eric Mullins has already seen first down. So has Justin. So I'm not going to post these ahead of time for those of you who are on the same, because I've got a couple people saying don't post them ahead of me. I'm watching like an SEC sideline reporter do a live shot from Academy Sports, I think, which is hideous. But yeah, you got to have points here. I mean, there's no question. Because I think, like, again, I know it's weird that Missouri's the favorite, but you can't let South Carolina hang around too long and get confident.
Mm-hmm. That was a good catch by Kiki Chisholm. Went down and got it.
Yeah. Breakfast King likes the yellow helmets. If he likes them, I like them. I don't care, but I like them if he does.
He knows about types of pickles that we've never heard of, so he must be smart.
He knows pickles. He apparently knows a lot about breakfast, which I'm a fan of.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, anytime you're a king of a food group, you have my respect.
I feel like there aren't strict qualifications for making that your YouTube name, though.
I don't know. You never know. Let me check here and see. Larry Roundtree is up to 2 attempts for 2 yards, so 17 away from breaking that record.
Well, slowly but surely, just kind of creeping up on it.
Yeah. Well, now you all are so far ahead. It's like really kind of unbelievable.
It's crazy. Yeah, I feel like they're getting farther ahead.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Like, you guys can talk with each other, and we get there. Mm-hmm. I never thought in the year of our Lord 2020 people would insist that I invest in cable television.
Yeah. It's just for this, and then you get to other times where you tell someone they'll have cable, and they will give you a long lecture about why you need to change.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was a really nice catch.
Pretty good throw, too.
It was, yeah. Yeah, really good throw, really nice catch. Yeah.
So I think Towski Dove gets to play more, right?
Yeah, I mean he's been solid, in his limited playing time at getting the ball in traffic, going up and making a catch. So yeah, I think he's earned more time. That was a good one.
I'm just amazed we got a scoring play that we didn't have to review 6 times.
Yeah, I know.
Justin Ferguson's doing Jaeger bombs. I was almost there in the middle of the pregame show. I mean, I hate Jaeger, but I still almost did it. I just almost went to buy some to start doing it.
When you couldn't get the audio to work.
Yes. Yeah.
You could have called in from your phone and broadcast from the liquor store.
I really appreciate it, Dan, but the problem is not my internet speed. I have the fastest internet speed. The problem is just when you are watching on streaming, you are behind. Like I have this.
Yes, and then this stream, this has to get posted and streamed to you all, which is then another minute behind.
Also a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that. We're all kind of, the comments are coming in live. This stream is actually coming in delayed, so it seems like we're actually even further behind than we are.
Mm-hmm. But luckily we make up for that with our withering insight
and personality.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitch with his hair, according to Bob Douglas. Me, not so much in that category.
So you said,
I agree with Eric that Towski does clearly. Go ahead.
You said when we were talking keys to the game that this should be a game where Connor Bazelak gets some stuff done and is the reason Missouri wins. I mean, good start so far. That was a couple good throws on that possession.
No question. Eric says Dove's got to be a top 2 or 3 receiver. I agree. I mean, he clearly has to start.
Yeah, and he did tonight, it appears.
Right.
So.
And he's a guy who's earned more targets. And Marcus was asking about how they got him, and they just kind of nobody wanted him, right?
Yeah, I actually know the story on this one because I talked to his high school coach earlier this season. So he played for a pretty loaded team down in Texas, Denton Ryan, and sorry, I'm reading comments here. He had 10 to 12 offers, one high major. I think it was Texas Tech, maybe a couple SMU type schools, and then some of the lower division ones, and all the high major and kind of the American athletic type higher group of 5 offers dried up, and National Signing Day came and went, and his only offers were the Arkansas State territory, and his coach basically said, I think we can do better. And he was planning to maybe go for a JUCO for a year because he had qualified. He only needed 1 year. And Joe John Finley, the old Missouri tight ends coach, was down looking at someone else. And that was when I believe, who was it? The Danny Gray, the wide receiver, didn't qualify. So they had a spot open. And then Dove's high school coach introduced him to Joe John Finley. They liked his film, and the rest is history.
Okay, I would like to point out real quickly, just as we all predicted, Mississippi State leads Georgia 3-0 late in the first. Tennessee on top of Auburn 10-0.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah. South Carolina doesn't look very good at football.
I'm not sure how much South Carolina wants to be there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Keegan, I was way ahead of you on the Mevis at D-line call. I said it on Wednesday night. I'm expecting it to happen. We're looking. I can't wait for Mevis to get some snaps at defensive tackle. Drake Heismeyer.
Drinkwitz seems like the type of guy that would do that just for the hell of it, right? Just to be kind of funny toward the end.
If they're winning 49-0, that'd be amazing. But then also you get your only scholarship kicker hurt, and then
right.
Oh, also they returned a punt. That's rare.
I'm not sure if the Breakfast King is complimenting me, saying I sound like Stephen Hawking, but whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of mean. But maybe he means you're smart.
I don't think that's what he meant, but I will take it that way.
So I think that was Cade Busser's first return of the year, even though he's caught a bunch of punts.
But I think he had a couple last year, though, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess they told him this week you can go ahead and run with it since you've shown the ability to catch it.
Eric Link does frequently like to say, we got to walk before we can crawl, or crawl before we can walk, and walk before we can run.
And look, like, I know everybody wants the guy back there that's going to take it 60 yards, but as long as Cade Musser catches every one, I keep putting him back there. Nobody else has proven they have the ability to do that.
Especially because, so many other guys have failed to do that.
Yeah. Hey, while we're on commercial real quick, let me remind you guys, first of all, the pregame show, which we got interrupted by a little bit, was brought to you by Burger Smokehouse. So make sure to check those guys out online, in stores, anywhere you can get their products, all kinds of good stuff. And this on the call is brought to you by Call Gentry Law Group down in Jefferson City, just right up there. Right there is their logo. Call Gentry Law Group in Jefferson City. Make sure to check them out if the need arises. Hopefully it will not, but if it does, personal injury attorneys especially, but they can help you out with a number of other things. Holiday seasons are coming up. You guys are getting a little stir crazy. You might do some stupid stuff. If you do, call Gentry, and like, they can't prevent you from doing stupid stuff, but hopefully they can minimize the problems that result from you doing stupid stuff. I think that is their job. I'm glad to know Breakfast King and I are still on good terms. He said he compared me to Stephen Hawking with all kindness. So I appreciate that. Let's see. All right, we're already into. I like Breakfast King needs to weigh in on best and worst Thanksgiving sides. Stuffing is the best side there is.
Couldn't agree more.
The concept of it is kind of gross, like soggy bread that got jammed inside a turkey, but the result is fantastic.
It's good, especially if you've got gravy to put over it. Yeah, that is. Stuffing is my number one. Green bean casserole is good if it's made well. What was also, were we asking for worst? I don't like the cranberry sauce. It's just not my thing. I don't like it.
Now, do you not like the stuff out of the cans, or do you not like real cranberry sauce?
I don't think I've had one that I like. So.
Okay. See, because the only thing my wife asked just yesterday, she asked me and the two boys what requests for Thanksgiving. I said the only thing I need is she makes bourbon cranberry sauce. It has to be had. Wow. You put it on the sandwiches after. You put it on everything. Like, I will use it on every single thing I eat for like 5 days.
Wow. Maybe I just need to have better cranberry sauce. I don't know, but I can't insult my grandmother like that. I'm sure hers is great. All of the rest of her food's good. It's just not for me.
We're going off the rails here. Dan wants to know if you watched NWA or WWF, Mitchell.
I don't.
By the way, there's a football game.
I know WWF is wrestling, I think, right?
Yeah. Did you not watch wrestling growing up?
No, I've never.
Oh, okay. I watched wrestling growing up. This is a controversial take. Casey Salt said a side salad is the best side. Can you ban people from a YouTube chat?
I will eat a side salad, but on Thanksgiving, that's not even in the top 5.
No, but I'll have one. Breakfast King, I'm going to agree. He says the worst is corn pudding. I'm mostly going to agree because I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds dreadful. So.
I've had some corn pudding. That's
okay. Justin Ferguson actually wants to talk football, and he points out that Roundtree, Elijah Young, and Tyler Beatty were all on the field together.
Yeah, and Roundtree took a snap in the Wildcat.
Got about 6 yards. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Breakfast King has a problem with the side salad take.
So does Ragnar Danesh.
All right, now Hump 707 likes the third down play. I don't yet know what it is, but he likes it.
I just saw it. It was a nice throw and catch, quick out for Jalen Knox. Yeah, he's been money on the third and fourth downs. You get him in single coverage. Good throw, good catch.
Basilak looks good so far, no question.
He does, yeah.
The thing I like about this is how we have 4 conversations going on at once. We got wrestling conversation, side salad conversation, little bit of football here and there, cranberry sauce conversation.
Yeah, it's good stuff. That's why we're paid the big bucks.
Right. Just watching LSU and South Carolina play. Mm-hmm. LSU has an M on their helmets, though.
Ooh, Larry Roundtree just lost like all the rushing yards he had. I think he's now needs like 19 more to break the record.
I think number 5 is going to get a tackle for that, but I don't think he should. I think Roundtree just fell.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, Casey Salt says that side salad was a callback to a thread on the board. I missed that one. So
yeah, I'll tell you, if it's in a thread that's tagged off topic, it's very unlikely I'm going to read it. I have enough to read as it is.
Well, I only read it when somebody reports it.
Yeah. And I just saw the completion debate that has been referenced by Eric Mullins. It was I agree. Yeah. Use him as often as you can.
And now you're in the position. Oh, well, I was going to say now you're in the position where you go for it on 4th down, maybe. But now, what's this flag? I'm sure some of you know.
Mm-hmm.
Personal foul. Who came in and was it a late hit or was somebody just talking crap?
I think someone got shoved, but I need to see another look.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a little more detail here on what's going on. While all this is going on, I'm going to check on our other SEC scores. Mississippi State 3, Georgia nothing after a full quarter. That's got to be discouraging for Georgia fans, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And
those make you wonder if Missouri had been able to play them last week. Maybe they could have hung tough. I don't know.
So let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, that's a personal foul on Case Cook.
He just dove in way late.
I mean, there's no need to do that at all.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, yeah, you got to know better than that.
I mean, that's a captain, man. He's been here he's an 8th-year senior, I think.
I think he's an 8th-year junior, and next year he'll be a 9th-year junior because this year doesn't count. But he's a redshirt junior.
Okay. So let's check in on Larry III's yardage. 5 carries for 5 yards.
Yes. Yeah, 14 more carries and set the record.
There have been 14 rushing plays in this game for 21 yards between the two teams. Both teams are averaging exactly 1.5 yards per carry.
That's not great.
No.
It's actually kind of miraculous that South Carolina's defense has been that good against the rush. Maybe a little bit of an indictment against Missouri's makeshift offensive line, because I believe over the last 3 or 4 games, South Carolina was allowing an average of 236 yards per game on the ground.
There you go.
And that's not like a made-up number. That's actually the number.
Well, I mean, Missouri's got 9, so only 227 more to go. Remarkably little has happened in this game. I credit that mostly to South Carolina. Just they don't look very good, like you said. Okay. I kind of like T-Rise. They shouldn't play Roundtree anymore because he's actually getting further away from the record in this game.
Well, he's averaging exactly 1 yard a carry. So, 14 more carries. There he is. I'd like him to get the record this game because I wrote a story this week basically saying he's going to get the record this game, and here's his story. Right. So, it gives me an excuse to tweet out the link. If it happens again in a week or whenever they play next, it's not as topical. So I always root for myself.
Yeah, Scott Clark says Javon Foster is not good at run blocking. I will trust him. I don't tend to focus much on individual offensive linemen, but I'm not sure any of them have done very well at run blocking in this particular game.
Yeah, I mean, when you're averaging what'd you say, 1.5 yards a carry? That's I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah.
And most of those came out of the Wildcat, most of those yards. But Missouri's run defense, I mean, for a shorthanded defensive line, has been solid as well. I mean, props to them. We've seen times where that's been an issue this season, and even without a few guys on that defensive front, they've been solid so far. Obviously, it's early, but that would be promising if that trend can continue.
I'm going to go out on a limb and predict a sack on 2nd down. I can't decide yet who I think is going to get it, but I think somebody's going to get it. Ragnar says that they should permanently quarantine Ryan Walters and stick with Gibbs. They also maybe wouldn't be hurt by playing South Carolina every week.
Yeah. So, wow, it's a lot of people involved with the sack.
Oh, yeah. I know Nick Bolton was there because I saw the hair, but it might have been Manuel who got there first again.
Might have been. By the way, I would like to know, Ragnar, if that's your real name, Ragnar Daniskild, and if so, which Scandinavian country are you from? Because that's a phenomenal name.
I'm assuming that's like a character name or something, but I could be wrong.
Well, I'm hoping he's like Norwegian or Danish or something.
Yeah. I would go by Thor.
South Carolina is not good.
They're getting... I don't feel like Mike Bobo is going to get the head coaching job here.
Yeah, that seems unlikely. I'm going to look at South Carolina gained 33 yards on their first drive. And, well, I need to see what happens with this one. But since then, could potentially be in the negative yardage.
But weren't 15 of those on Jarvis Ware's PI?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. Quite yes.
Okay.
They were. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about amount of field moved. I'm looking at the drive chart here. Oh, that's disappointing. They got back into the positive yardage with this drive.
Fairly meaningless 10-yard pass.
Yes.
Yes, number 32 is a very good player, Nick Bolton. Okay, there you go. Ragnar is from Atlas Shrugged. He says we should read a book. I've not read that particular book.
Yeah, I actually haven't either, although I know that's like kind of a classic.
I mean, I've heard of it.
My mom would be disappointed.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'll add that to my list.
I'm just throwing up random comments from new people. Noah Sweet, appreciate you joining us. We've got some new names here, so I appreciate that. Everybody probably is coming on to see what we have to say because they haven't been able to figure out how to find SEC alternate.
That's probably true.
If anybody was wondering, the Breakfast King of Loyola has a friend who named his kid Odin. So,
actually, wow, my cousin named his kid Odin. I wonder if he's friends with my cousin.
Great Odin's Raven.
Yeah, or was it Odin? No, it was Olin. Sorry, I should know. Okay. My cousin has a son named Olin, like Olin Kreutzler.
Apparently, Oklahoma State not doing so well in Bedlam. I guess we'll have to.
Well, that's surprising.
You're right. Yeah, we'll have to check some other scores. Oh, hey, Auburn's driving again. Let's check other scores. Did you watch other games? I watched the end of Indiana Ohio State. That was a
I watched almost all of Indiana Ohio State. I mean, flipping around to some other games around that time. It actually ended up being very entertaining. Ohio State. I don't know that. I mean, if that's their one big name opponent or high ranked opponent they get to play this season, they'll make the playoffs, I guess, if they go undefeated. But I'm not sold on them.
Oh, there you go. Noah Sweet is a fan of South Carolina and could not find the game. So, Noah, we appreciate having you on, man. Obviously, we can't, show the game here, but we can talk about it a little bit. We're also talking about side salad and people named Odin and some other random things. So I just looked at Oklahoma is ahead 21-0 with 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Spencer Rattler is 6 of 7 for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing Oklahoma can do, it is beat Oklahoma State. That's
sure.
It's much an annual tradition.
So Dan's wondering if Jeremy Pruitt's in trouble. I don't think so. Like, what are they going to do that's better immediate? Like, they're not going to find a guy that's just going to instantly get them back to Georgia and Florida level. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
you got to give a guy time.
Basically, my answer would be if it was almost anywhere else, I'd be no. But I also am not comfortable predicting what Tennessee is going to do.
I mean, I think Tennessee should be required to have a coaching search every year because their last one was so amazing.
It was entertaining.
I would subscribe to, I mean, I have access to it, but I would voluntarily subscribe to VolQuest to show to follow another Tennessee coaching search. There you go. Scott Frost to UT.
Yeah, his star has fallen a little bit.
I think I sent you Ralph Russo's tweet from the AP. He said the Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man meme is actually just Nebraska and Tennessee.
I thought that's a good one.
So, yeah, Marcus has said we also thought Muschamp would make it. I didn't know if he'd make it till next year, but I thought he would make it to the end of this season. I was surprised they did it. What's the advantage? What did they accomplish
here?
I
understood that unless you think like you have something to play for this season. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I wouldn't have been stunned if Will Muschamp got fired. Obviously, I wouldn't have even been surprised. I just thought maybe because of the circumstances, it might not happen. Right. With Jeremy Pruitt, it was not even the same comparable levels coming into the season. Like Will Muschamp, you knew, okay, he's on a hot seat.
He was on.
If they don't play well, maybe they're in trouble. It did not seem that way about Jeremy Pruitt.
I mean, they gave Pruitt an extension.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I went back and looked, and that last sack got it was given as a half sack to Bartez Manuel and a half sack to Devin Nicholson.
Okay, that makes sense. So Noah, our South Carolina viewer, is asking who we think will win. We both picked Missouri to win. I think that's and like the Missouri fans here will tell you, we are not homers who pick them to win every week. In fact, they would tell you maybe we go the other way too often. So it's not a homer pick. South Carolina looks about like I kind of thought they might look so far tonight.
Yeah. I mean, they've been. I actually thought they would be able to move the ball a little bit better than this. Granted, they lost Shi Smith on the first possession, but yeah, South Carolina's not looked good. Really, the only surprise to me so far, I thought that the two offenses would have a little more success. Obviously, Missouri had the scoring drive. I thought the issues would be more on defense, but South Carolina's looked relatively inept on offense.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, the broadcast I'm watching is experiencing technical difficulties. Anyone else having that issue?
Same. Yeah. It's just there is no feed. So luckily for you guys, though, we do have the press box stats feed up, so we can tell you that Missouri has the ball 2nd and 8 on the South Carolina 38 after a 2-yard run by Larry Roundtree. We're actually going to be doing play-by-play now because nobody can watch the game.
Play-by-play that we are just getting a written description of each play. But
yes, we can't see it, but
on first down, Jalen Knox ran for 3 yards. On second down, there was pass interference on South Carolina, and then that gave Missouri a first down, 15 yards, and then Larry Roundtree ran for 2 yards. So he's up to 6 attempts for 7 yards.
Okay, so people are saying the game is back. Oh, David Dowell said Gabe is back, thank God. I think he meant to say game is back, but if he meant to say that I'm back, I appreciate that. My feed is still not back, so I assume it will come back shortly. Andy Speller saying it's a TO Mizzou. I don't know if that's timeout or turnover.
Timeout. Yeah, according to the stat broadcast, Missouri did call a timeout.
Okay, cool. Well, good timing for it. So that actually gives me a chance to go back to, there we go.
My game is back as well.
Yeah, that since Missouri called a timeout, we can go back to the important stuff, which is Casey Salt slightly redeeming himself and crowning himself the boss of green bean casserole. So I don't know if he means making it or eating it.
I feel like you got to be making it. I mean, anyone can eat it. You can't. You can't just be the ball unless you're you have the world record for most green bean casserole consumed. In which case, respect.
How come green bean casserole is only really good 1 week a year? I never have it any other time.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever had it other than Thanksgiving and
I don't either.
Maybe Christmas. I don't know.
Yeah. It's good though.
That type of time.
Breakfast King wants to put horseradish on green bean casserole. I would be a fan. It would be good.
We already have talked about the merits of horseradish in this podcast.
Who is the old man talking on the sideline with the tight ends? I didn't have. Did you see that?
No, No, my stream came back and then it immediately went to timeout, so I stopped paying attention.
Same, yeah. I didn't see the bump shot, so I'm not sure who it is. But yeah, I think it would actually be kind of interesting to do this if just the game just wasn't on. It might be more fun, right?
Yeah. if we had to give or read descriptions of every play with no idea how it happened.
All right. So what kind of pie at the Forde household for Thanksgiving?
Actually, usually we have a pretty decent pie spread. Pumpkin is always, the staple. It's always good. Usually get a chocolate pie of sorts. There's usually like a bourbon pecan pie.
We have one
and
of those.
then my favorite is if you can get like a blackberry or blueberry pie. I really like berry pies. Like that's my favorite if we can get it. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't think I've ever had a bad pie.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Moe's pie is pretty good. All right. Scott wants to actually talk football. Run isn't working. They're stacking the box, need to throw the ball. I agree. Like, this is a situation where you kind of just look and, hey, if they've got 7 guys in the box, you're going to have to throw the football. And you've thrown it pretty well so far. So I wonder if on some of these plays, Bazelak should have been checking out and hasn't been. I don't really know that. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I could see maybe some conservative play calling to start, just with a third stringer starting at left guard, back up at right tackle, and a game where you don't think maybe you have to score 1 billion points to win, but at a certain point I would expect Missouri to adjust, and by the comments it looked like it might come very quickly here with using the running backs in the passing game.
Okay. I guess I should flip back to the game rather than the ESPN scoreboard. Hey, Missouri's going the other direction.
Little wheel route to Tyler Beatty, and he is down to about the 12-yard line.
I think when they eventually do play Georgia, based on what I saw in the Florida game, that's the play they should run on every single snap.
Well, yeah, it worked for Florida, that's for sure.
Okay. Tyler Beatty's had a good year.
He has,
not so much on that run, but
Right, and he really, I mean, there's been times like stretches where he hasn't touched the ball a ton. I mean, he didn't carry it a whole ton against Kentucky, and he I think 2 touches against Florida, which Drinkwitz was pretty open about saying, he needs to get him the ball more. So
right,
but he's a very good, very effective change of pace back, and a good receiver. Messiah Swinson in the game, that's unusual.
Yes, I know it's happened before, but that's the first time I've seen it with my eyes.
Yeah. 2 tight end set. Elijah Young in motion, and he gets the handoff, his first college carry. Wow.
Almost
creative.
Almost got in.
Almost scored.
Yeah. He showed some speed there.
Yeah, he did. That's kind of his calling card. I actually remember talking to his high school coach. They said a lot of teams were recruiting him more as kind of a slot receiver because he's not the biggest guy, but he can move. He's got wheels. He's a good kick returner, too.
How about the lead blocks by Micah Wilson and Larry Roundtree?
Yeah, really good block. I know what's going to happen. I believe we're going to see a Larry Roundtree 1-yard touchdown run.
He's had a lot of the 1-yard touchdown runs this year.
Yes, he can get a yard. He's averaging 1 per carry. That's just what he does. Just get a yard.
In all seriousness, though, you're now up 14-0. Like, you should almost have enough points to win this game, right?
Well, I wouldn't have thought so coming in, but given what I've seen from South Carolina, I mean,
I've seen nothing that South Carolina shows me they're really all that interested in crossing midfield, much less scoring.
Yeah, I mean, their literally really only positive play has been a penalty on Missouri.
All right, so yeah, Missouri now has run for 24 yards, I believe. I don't know, for some reason my stats feed doesn't want to scroll. It's working about as well as everything else has thus far today, but I also just randomly clicked on something weird there. So yeah, 14-0. And South Carolina got the ball first, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. All right, so things not going great for South Carolina.
Yeah, no, they really need to just have a possession where at least they get a few first downs and give their defense a break because Missouri's been on the field a lot more for sure.
Yeah. Braden Pierce wants to know if we're talking about South Carolina. We are some, in that they're involved. We know a lot more about Missouri.
Right. We don't. Yeah, I was going to say we don't really know. Like, we don't have as much history to talk about like past South Carolina games, but we will comment on the action as it happens, and by as it happens, I mean 3 minutes after it happens.
Scott asking if Mevis is better than Harrison Butker only on extra points. I still want Butker on field goals, particularly over 55 yards, but on extra points, I want them to draft Harrison Mevis and take him to Oakland tomorrow night.
And as a backup defensive tackle.
Right. So Eric's talking about the Bama-Kentucky game. I watched that, and Kentucky was down 7-3 inside the 10-yard line, had a chance to actually take the lead, didn't, snapped the ball over the field goal kicker's head for like a loss of like 32 yards. And then I turned it off, and apparently Alabama scored 56 straight points, and Kentucky reverted to being Kentucky. Did you watch any of that game?
Yeah. No, I haven't watched a snap. I didn't watch a snap of that game.
Okay.
But, I mean, I don't think that comes as a huge surprise. Alabama, no one stopped them, and Kentucky had no linebackers, so that was always going to be a bloodbath.
Who was the worst team you've watched since Mizzou joined the SEC? I mean, it's got to be one of the last couple Arkansas teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, Vanderbilt's bad, but first of all, I haven't actually watched them this season because I'm not going to watch them just for fun. I'm only going to watch them when they're playing Missouri. But, I mean, that Arkansas has had some – that 2 years ago when Mizzou shut them out, they were hopeless.
Yes. And last year they were pretty hopeless. I mean, Chad Morris, we've discussed, he's never allowed to coach again. I don't even think he should be allowed to be an offensive coordinator, but definitely not a head coach. But 2015 Missouri was pretty awful to watch, but they were better than those Arkansas teams.
I would have to agree.
I don't finish strong. I don't think Missouri's dropped a pass, have they, so far today?
No, they have not. Mm-mm. No. Okay. Also, I think that might have been, I could be wrong on this, but that might have been the first kick return first time a team has attempted a kick return against Missouri this
I know Dan Dorr was asking about that after the opening kickoff, and give me a minute, I'll look it up.
Yeah, here I got
trying to find out if kickoff return defense is a thing.
It is. I'm looking that up.
Yeah.
Missouri, nope, that was the first. No one had attempted a kickoff return against Missouri this season until that one.
There you go. Well, apparently I have to open the stats window in a different window because it decided it was done working in the current window. Missouri's done a nice job on Kevin Harris, and that's a good tackle by Nick Bolton on second down.
Yeah, he's good at that. He's a good player.
He's already got 6 tackles. We've got 12 minutes left in the second quarter. Akil Byers has 4 tackles too.
Wow, good for him.
Including also one for a loss.
Drinkwitz this week.
Yeah,
that's where whoever was asking about our inside jokes in the press conference. That's. Akil Byers
That's
is the
one.
subject of one of the best.
Yes.
He's one of the best ones.
And not a negative one. Like, we're not.
Oh, not at all. No, we love him.
That was a nice throw on third down.
It was. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was solid coverage.
Oh, gosh. It's 7:30. It's about time to shut things down, I think.
Well, it's been dark for 3 hours.
Right. That's a big part of the problem.
Yeah.
Also, it's been a high-stress evening, so.
True.
Although it will make our jobs a little bit easier if this game is basically over at halftime. We always like that.
Yeah, definitely. And we can get back to talking about food and other subjects.
Yeah. Finish Strong is asking if a shutout's possible. And look, I mean, the way South Carolina looks right now, you want to say yes, but getting a shutout is really difficult.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. The question was asked. It is possible,
right?
Because they still have 0.
Right. Not possible for South Carolina at this point.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You never know. I mean, if Missouri were to get up big and they, throw some backups in there, like, who knows?
Well, the thing is, Missouri doesn't really have backups to throw in. So
that's a good point.
These are the guys.
Yeah. Interesting design.
That was the most interesting design quarterback keeper I've ever seen. Like, a lot of things happened, but really all that happened was the quarterback went off.
I don't know who that guy is, but it felt like it took him forever to get to the line of scrimmage. Like, he was like moving in slow motion to start the play. Another third down completion for South Carolina.
Missouri has kind of ceased getting pressure on this drive.
Yeah. I mean, look, the only way they're really going to do it is by blitzing, I think. I mean, maybe, you get Trey Williams to win on one-on-one, but with this defensive line, it'd be kind of surprising. But the thing about blitzing is, you've got, I mean, you're down a few guys in the secondary. You've probably got, J.C. Carlos, Jalen Carlos covering someone one-on-one if you're blitzing. I don't know so it's one of those things. If you keep them in front of you and make them make a throw and a catch, I don't think that's the end of the world.
Right. If you make them go the length of the field, you probably count on them messing up somewhere along the line. Patrick's asking about the South Carolina quarterback from last year, Ryan Holinski. I think he just didn't win the job, right? There was no more to it.
I believe you're right. Yeah, I believe you're right. I think he's healthy.
No, South Carolina's still sticking with Colin Hill, and at this point, I don't see why you switch quarterbacks, honestly. I mean, I don't know if it's his fault.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, but I haven't seen him he hasn't been egregiously missing open receivers or anything.
Nick Bolton's having an SEC Player of the Week type night.
Yeah, he's everywhere. Also, I don't know, I think it was Isaiah Maguire gets the assist because he just pushed someone about 5 yards back into the backfield. Darius Robinson. Although I think that was a pulling guard. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, I did forget until Kevin just brought it up that Cy Smith hasn't played since the third play of the game.
Yeah, he's. I would be pretty. We don't have the audio on, obviously, but I'd be pretty surprised if he's coming back.
Yeah. I also
4th and 6. What do you do here? Do you go for it?
Nah, not necessarily.
I probably wouldn't, but I'd be tempted.
It's a little too long.
Probably pin Missouri back.
I just figured out why T-Rise was asking if I was arguing with people because I'm having to use my computer microphone. You can hear when I type. No, I was returning a message from someone. So yeah, that's good to realize. I forgot that you guys can hear me type. Oh well. I'm also going to have to make sure that I can accurately record the Zoom meeting. It shouldn't really impact my ability to do that, though. I can hear it, so.
Touchback on the front. So
I feel good about this game as long as South Carolina doesn't switch quarterbacks. I imagine how painful it would be if Connor Shaw discovered one extra half of eligibility and just he came out on. My God, that's Connor Shaw's music.
Throws off the coaching headset, rips off his shirt on the sideline. He's got full pads on. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Breakfast King is right. I frequently get told that my typing is quite hostile. So I've broken a keyboard or two.
Wow, that's impressive.
Oh my goodness! Sure. Michigan is trailing Rutgers 14-0.
Ooh,
Like you get fired.
that is,
You get fired Sunday if you lose that game, right?
man, probably so. I don't know. I mean, I think they're just waiting. I don't know if they do it because I think they can just wait out this season and know that Harbaugh's not going to be back and save themselves a little money. But
Maybe.
yeesh.
Yeah. All right. So linebackers in the last 20 years, Brothers, Spoon, or Bolton. Like, I've got a really hard time going against Sean Weatherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I didn't.
you
Yeah, I
probably
didn't
really
watch
see
him as closely at Missouri, but I'm very familiar with him as a pro. It'd be I'd need to see more from Bolton, I think, before I pick against him. But I mean, Bolton's a heck of a player.
I'd put Bolton ahead of Brothers, I think.
I probably would as well.
Spoon, but I mean, Spoon was 3-time first team All Big 12. If he'd played 4 years, would have had the school record in tackles. And I mean, on the best teams this school's had in 60 years, So that's probably where I'd go. All right, real quick during commercial before we answer Eric Mullen's food question. On the call, brought to you by Call Gentry Law Group in Jefferson City. Make sure to get a hold of them. You can go to callgentry.com, CALLGENTRY.com, or you can just Google a phone number, give him a call, talk to Chip Gentry down there. He's going to hook you up with anything you need, any legal issues you have, any problems that might arise in your life. Well, I shouldn't say any problems. He can't fix your personal problems. He'll do his best to fix your legal problems, though. Call Gentry Law Group. Check them out. I thought I had the technical difficulty screen, but it was just a commercial break screen. So before we, once again, Call Gentry Law Group, before we go back to the game, Eric wants to know, roasted, smoked, or deep fried turkey. Like we always do ours roasted, but I want to get a smoker and start doing some of that stuff.
Yeah, so first of all, ours is always, roast in the oven. But actually, I've been told that, so we're not really doing, the whole extended family this year. Mm-hmm. Usually my whole mom's side of the family and a few close friends all kind of get together.
Hey,
by the way, I think
is that the record?
Roundtree, the record, yes. But usually it's roasted. But since it's just immediate family this year, I think we're going to try smoked. I've also had deep fried, and it's very good. It is very, very tender. That is the record for Larry Roundtree. Yep.
So he is about 1,000 yards behind Brad Smith, I think, something like that, for the overall record.
Something like that, yeah.
I feel like that'll be a stretch in the next 4 games.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I think it's pretty unlikely.
I think it's appropriate that he passed Zach Abram too, because that was another guy that just never got the credit for being as good as he was, and I know that was before probably you were able to pay any attention to Missouri football. I think you would have been about 6, maybe.
Definitely, definitely before my time.
Yeah, but Zach was just a guy who never got a lot of glory or credit, and he was there every game. And Roundtree, I think, gets a little more attention, but we've talked about a lot. Like he deserved to play on better Missouri teams than he has, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he gets praise, but I don't think a lot of people will think of him as Missouri's most productive running back ever.
Right.
So.
That
was a missed throw by Connor Bazelak, by the way. That was a cool play design with the fake screen, but a little high there.
People will name Henry Josie before they name Larry Roundtree in 10 years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I would tend to agree. Yeah. And Roundtree also he's a good guy. I mean, no one's ever said anything about him. He runs hard. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest. He runs hard. He's always got a smile on his face. Everyone speaks highly of him.
We enjoy the 2 times this year we've talked to him.
Yeah.
He is a good interview, though, when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Justin brings up a good point. Missouri could actually score here and take a 21-0 lead to halftime and get the ball. Honestly, I think if you even get a field goal here, the game's almost over. Like, if you go in with a 3-score lead,
unless South Carolina scores again before the half or something,
Yeah, I don't think South Carolina is coming back. Scott Clark's asking about where James Kinney fits in the linebacker discussion. Like, he was good. I always felt like he piled up stats a little bit. He was a good player, but I don't know that he's Spoon Bolton Brothers level.
I never watched him play a single game, so that's my contribution.
Marcus is asking how many words a minute I type. Like, I used to be between 80 and 90. I don't know where I'm at now. I haven't tested.
I don't think I've been measured since like elementary school.
Yeah. I used to, when I was in high school, I used to be able to type like 60 with just the two fingers, like the cat. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Well, Mizzou's kind of figured out the ground game here.
Really
a couple of good completions as well, but now they've found some room to run.
Yeah, Larry's putting the record out of reach now. I don't think he can lose enough yardage to lose it. Good point by Eric. Like, we need to give Kiki Chisholm some. Like, he's played well tonight. He's struggled early.
He's had his best game for sure. Larry Roundtree's up to 36 rushing yards. He'd have to go for -17, -18 to lose the record. So I think it's his.
Kiki Chisholm had one that lost almost that many. Was it in the Florida game?
Florida. Yeah. That. Yeah, it lost a lot.
Hey, I'm sure the people here didn't think it was funny, but it was one of those plays where you just kind of had to laugh a little bit because, like, you don't see that happen very much. Mm-hmm. Hey, while you guys are here, like, this is probably the most people we've had for a watch along. So while you're here, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Let people know what we're doing. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Like, it's just kind of a laid back thing, obviously. You know, a lot of side salad talk. We learned some things about Atlas Shrugged and other ways that we can enhance ourselves as time goes on. But hey, this is the closest you get to getting to hang out and watch a game with other people these days. So we might even do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll see if they. Can't take these things for granted. They don't play that many games.
Right. And there are a lot of comments about this rooster noise on the broadcast.
I know what they're talking about. I remember it from 2 years ago. It's annoying.
Is it?
I mean, it didn't offend me to the level it seems to have offended some, but it is annoying.
I'll say this, though. South Carolina is one of the more underrated places to see a game. Like, it's a good game day experience with Sandstorm and the towels, and like they get rocking there. The tailgate scene is pretty cool. I like it. Uh-oh.
I don't know.
I don't know where this is coming from, Bob Douglas. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have to start censoring Bob Douglas's comments.
Yeah, things are getting a little inappropriate.
Yeah, a little crazy.
Yeah, well,
it seems like this game has been on commercial more than it's actually been on TV.
That's football these days. It's all commercials.
Columbia, South Carolina, as a city, like, it's just, I don't love it or hate it. It's just there. It doesn't seem like a college town, but I'm just talking about the game day. I like it.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Oh, Dan's got family upstairs watching The Crown. That sounds not very appealing to me.
Someone in the stands is jumping rope over T-shirts tied together, so that's something.
We've got another Mitchell in the chat, so that's good. I don't know what that's worth, but... Oh, yeah, see, Patrick Aaron's got in the caboose. That's...
I've heard that's a good
big time. Yeah. I would like to be able to go.
Yeah.
I just got to walk by and look at all the rich people in there. Because I went and had my peasant food in the press box.
Yeah.
It seems like Missouri's had the ball for about 7 minutes. It probably hasn't been that long.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, they've definitely possessed the ball more in this game than South Carolina. I'll look it up here.
Let's see.
Let's see. Missouri's had it for, never mind. South Carolina's had it for 14:26. Missouri's had it for 11:42. That might not include this drive, though. They might update that at the end of the drives.
This drive started at 6:33, so Missouri's actually only had it about 3.5 minutes, but it truly seems like it's been like an 8-minute drive. Maybe it's because just when South Carolina has it, I'm not paying attention because nothing's going to happen.
True. Stoppages of several stoppages of the clock, too, resulting in
I thought Chisholm had caught that, but he did not.
No, there's our first drive. It was tipped, so it was flying.
Yeah.
Funky. Well, it looks like
I think we got bad news coming up.
We got ahead of ourselves talking about putting the game away before half with the score and getting it back.
That was just a poor throw. I mean, that was underthrown by 5 yards minimum, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure. Could you tell who the intended receiver was? I couldn't tell.
It was Dove. It was Towski Dove.
Okay. I mean, if you throw that right, I'm still not sure Dove is open. But it at least doesn't get
not
hit.
That different than the play they connected on earlier. He
True.
Just underthrew it. Yeah.
Somebody's asking if that's a late hit. I don't think so. That was like one step. The Trajan Jeffcoat thing was 2.5 steps at Florida. I don't think this is. You could see it flagged, but that would be a really ticky-tack call to me. Oh, hey, a third Mitchell in the chat.
Love it.
Go. Safety, maybe? Yeah, not so much, I guess. T-Rise says the intended receiver was a Gamecock on that one. So, yeah, I mean, that was underthrown by a good 5. Because that ball's got to be 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone. And it was picked off at the 3-yard line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. It was just well underthrown.
It appears, by the way, that Colin Hill has a really bad mustache under that helmet.
Ooh, nice.
Kind of an observation.
I thought about coming on the air with a mustache this evening. But
that would have been all right. Would have been a little change.
Yeah.
Let's check on Kevin Harris's numbers. I feel like there's not a lot.
For sure.
11 carries for 29 yards as a team. South Carolina's run 19 times for 25 yards.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge for Missouri. You know, you talked about it before the game. I've yet to see anything from Colin Hill that makes me say, oh, you know, he can beat you. Single-handedly can beat you. So Kevin Harris is good enough too if you let him, you know, get 8 yards of carry. So they've done a good job there.
South Carolina has 1:57 to go 85 yards, and they're acting like this is the middle of the first quarter.
I know they're running the ball every play. It's wild,
and they're not running it well either.
No. Yeah, that's a bit mystifying. Wow, nice dance moves from Isaiah Maguire. Did you see that?
No, let's see.
I don't know that he was actually involved in the play whatsoever, but he did some dancing.
He did come clean up after Bolton really made the tackle.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm going to check out. Before I look at the official stats, I'm going to say unofficially Nick Bolton has 39 tackles. Officially, he has
30 of them for loss,
including 2 for a loss. Missouri already has 7 tackles for loss as a team.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, with Markel Odsi and Kobe Whiteside and Trajan Jeffcoat out, that's impressive.
Yeah, no question. So was that a Missouri timeout? I'm assuming.
It had to have been. Let me look.
I mean, no reason South Carolina would call it.
It was a Missouri timeout.
So, look, we haven't talked about this yet, but, I mean, Missouri they've already beaten Kentucky. If Tennessee loses to Auburn, Missouri's in pretty decent shape to finish 3rd in the East. For year 1, that would be really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, partially the rest of the East is bad, but we thought Missouri might be kind of bad this year. I mean, they've dealt with some of the similar obstacles as everyone else. So, yeah, not trying to take away anything from it.
And again, all you have to do to have a pretty good season is beat bad teams. That's it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else required.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh has made millions and millions of dollars by beating bad teams before this year.
That's true. I mean,
it's all he's ever done at Michigan.
Yeah, he had some. He had made a lot of his money by having his name and success in the NFL first.
Well, right, but that was the latest flag I think I've ever seen thrown in college football.
Brutal.
I mean, it came like after the receiver went back and had 10 minutes to talk the ref into throwing it. And I'm not saying the call was wrong. I don't know. I can't tell yet. But Eric Mullen said Odom couldn't beat bad teams. Yeah, that's why he got fired. And that's why he wasn't successful here. Literally, all you have to do is beat the bad teams. And even this year, you're going 6-4. You know? I mean, Missouri lost to one bad team already. Tennessee's a bad team. Like, there's
It's like they waved off they waived off the penalty due to the pass being uncatchable, as I'm sure all of y'all watching know by now.
I thought maybe they waived off the penalty due to the fact that it took the official 12 minutes to throw it.
Yeah, I'm glad they waived it off. By the way, I don't think that was a good call.
Yeah,
or it wasn't. I mean, it was a good call to waive it off. I don't think it was a penalty.
So 3rd and 14. I mean, you've got a legitimate shot to get a stop here and get the ball back. I feel like South Carolina almost runs the ball and forces Missouri to use the timeout. There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I feel like Isaiah Maguire is a guy that they've kind of found out something about this year. I think he's a guy.
Yeah. Ever since that LSU game when he kind of got pressed into duty, he's been really solid. He's made a lot of plays.
Yeah. Hey, there's Ben Key.
Has he played yet?
No, I don't think so, but he was on the sideline.
Technically, the starter at nose tackle, even though he hasn't played.
Jay Macklin, Dawson Downing, Journey. There's your favorite player going in here on special teams.
No doubt. I bet he scores on this play.
Whoever number 10 is. No, Jay Macklin did not opt out of the season, Andy. You've got him confused with somebody else. I'm not sure who it is. But
yeah, maybe one of the other St. Louis guys.
Maurice Massey, maybe.
Massey.
Yeah.
Mizzou looks like they're bringing everyone on the team to block this.
I wouldn't try to block this. Just set up the return. You're going to get the ball in midfield.
It also kind of looks like they have 13 guys on the field. I don't think they even have a returner back there.
I think they've got 10 guys at the line. Yeah, there's the return guy. It's Cade Musser. It looked to me like he waved for a fair catch, picked it up, started to return it, and took a knee.
I don't think he waved for a fair catch. I think he waved everyone off, saying it's going to bounce short, clear out.
So any points here, to me, is a victory and kind of a – I don't want to say the game's over, but you really put – like South Carolina has, let me look it up. They have 68 yards of offense. If you take a 3-score lead and you get the ball to start the third quarter, it's really hard to see South Carolina mounting much of a charge. They also don't look like they really care.
Yeah. No, I mean, maybe it's because I was just thinking, maybe it's because I'm watching it on mute. I don't know, but this has seemed like, seemed like a low kind of energy affair. And
yes,
more so from South Carolina, obviously. Missouri's making plays, especially on defense, but like, it's not seemed like there's a whole lot of juice out there for South Carolina.
Speaking of not a whole lot of juice, Mississippi State 17, Georgia 10. That's rough.
Yikes.
That is rough.
That would be a bad loss. Well, look at that. Jay Macklin with a reception.
There you go.
Gains 4 yards.
So first catch for Jay Macklin, first carry for Elijah Young. Like you're getting to see some of the freshmen get involved. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that Macklin's name has been auto-corrected to Mackinac and Marlin in the chat so far. So.
Marlin's a common one for me. I'll get Macklin.
Yeah, Mackinac, though, I'm not sure how you get there.
No, you messed up there. Barrett Bannister. Barrett, a tale as old as time.
Needs 5 yards, get 6.
Yep.
And really, time, because the clock stops on first downs, time is no factor here.
No, in college football, 100%. Should also point out that Barrett Bannister was the Mizzou long drive and putting contest champion last weekend, apparently.
There you go. All right, so they're at the 29. You're looking at a 46-yard field goal. Obviously, you'd like to score a touchdown, but goal number 1 here is hang on to the ball, give yourself a chance at points.
Yeah. Also, that Connor Bazelak keep, I thought, was more evidence that South Carolina looks relatively uninterested in playing, because Connor Bazelak has been a fine, decent passer this season. He's not breaking a lot of tackles. At least he should be.
Not a huge fan of that throw.
No. Yeah, that's a little more dangerous than, I don't know, it's not worth the risk, I would say. Double coverage. Kiki Chisholm.
That looked like could have been a face mask on Bannister.
Yeah, I just saw that.
And now you got to hustle a little bit. You got third down and the clock's running. And
Well, so here you got to throw, and it's got to be to the sticks. Otherwise, you're
because you can't spike the
field
ball.
goal team on.
Well, it was not to the sticks, but they got there.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, Beatty. That's one of those things. Like, that's props to the coaching staff for acknowledging after the last game that Tyler Beatty needed more touches and getting it done. I mean, he absolutely is a guy who needs to touch the ball 10 times a game.
They just called Beatty's name with the.
I saw on the.
I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me he's getting the ball if that's the play call. I like that. Just throw it out of bounds.
They did throw to him, and then he got lost in the hedge.
He kind of got bumped into the hedges there.
Yeah, almost swallowed him up. He's not a big guy.
I mean, now you've got to be careful. If you throw short of a first down in the middle of the field, you probably have time to spike it, but you're going to have to hustle.
Yeah. It's a little bit tricky.
You're really trusting your quarterback here.
Mm-hmm. Damon Hazelton starts off in the backfield. I hadn't seen him much tonight.
Yeah, I hadn't either. Oh, that looked like it should have been a touchdown to me.
He was open. It looked like to me. I need to see a replay, but I thought he was open.
And I blame the throw, not the catch.
Yeah.
All right, so now we see what the flag is. Huh. Face mask.
Face mask.
That was first down anyway, right?
It was.
Okay.
Now, I mean, no, that was second down. Because the pass was incomplete to Tyler Beatty the play before.
So
I mean, now, you take two shots.
Two shots at the end zone, probably?
I think so. Yeah, because they're close. It shouldn't take longer for guys.
As long as you don't run around.
Yeah.
I mean,
really, all it comes down to here is you just can't take a sack.
Can't take a sack, can't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Can't run the ball.
Right.
I really thought that's just they should not have stopped that clock. Missouri got really lucky. I don't think he was out of bounds.
Yeah, that was fortunate. I don't know.
I don't like that play call at all.
No, I don't either. You can't throw. Why if you're at the 11 or the 9-yard line with 13 seconds left, why are you throwing short of the end zone under any circumstances?
Right. Yeah.
Makes no sense. Yeah, I don't like that one.
Now you throw a fade pattern and then kick the field goal. Or
penalty or timeout.
Timeout, South Carolina. So you've got time as long as there's no thinking. Here's your first target. If he's not open, you sail it into the stands and then bring in the kicker.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be curious if they show that little pass to Kiki Chisholm.
Maybe a better angle.
Get another look at if he really should have gotten.
I thought his hip maybe was down in bounds.
Yeah, it was close.
But I don't know. The official was standing right there.
So it's not been the most perfect night by Connor Bazelak, but also not devastating by any means.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's been plenty good enough.
Yeah. Just a little inaccurate. Worth remembering, he's a freshman. So I see in the
helmet just got ripped off.
That was violent, yeah. So, but here's the thing.
I mean, you have to kick the field goal. You don't have time to run.
Like that's actually a smart penalty to interfere.
Really smart penalty.
If you're the defensive back, I mean, not great sportsmanship to actually rip a guy's head off, but
I don't think that was intentional, but I could be wrong.
No, if you've got a chance you do everything you can to make that not complete. And if it's a penalty, fine. But there's not enough time for Missouri to run both another play and a field goal. They got to pick.
So no reason to go for it from the 2-yard line. You got to kick.
No,
right?
I mean, I think you got to make it a 3-score game.
I agree. Yeah.
And yes, you could get a touchdown, but if you get stopped here, you give South Carolina so much more momentum than it deserves to have at halftime of this game.
That was a face mask. I don't at all think it was intentional.
No, I don't think so, really, either. Although I also think Toski Dove has a right to be a little bit peeved.
Oh, I would be irritated if that happened to me. Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think he did it on purpose.
Yeah. All right, looks like they're kicking.
From, 20 yards? All right, so 17-0 in a game that honestly doesn't even feel that close. Mitch, if you want to duck out and go ahead and get some halftime thoughts posted on the board, I'll update the stats here. I'll keep everybody entertained for the first few minutes of halftime while you're doing your thing. When you get back, I might take a break and then we'll watch a second half that I anticipate is going to be incredibly uneventful.
Sounds good.
All right. So stay on Skype. I'm just going to take you off the screen.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so 17-0, Missouri at halftime. What we're going to do is we're going to update the stats, and you guys who have been on here before, you know how this is. I have to do it live, so you're just going to kind of watch it, as I update. We're going to do this from the official stat feed from the game. I mean, this is more lopsided than 17-0, honestly. Missouri has 212. I typed 213, but it is 212 total yards. South Carolina has 68. I mean, they have 5 first downs and have done almost nothing in this game. Passing yardage, well in favor of Missouri. If I can manage to figure out where to place my cursor to update things, you guys will actually get to know what the stats are. Missouri has 140 passing yards. South Carolina has 39. Rushing yards also certainly in favor of Missouri. Missouri has run for 72 yards in this game. South Carolina has run for 29. I mean, just everything in favor of Missouri, and really none of it even close. First downs are 14-5 in favor of Missouri. And that's even with Missouri having lost a turnover in this game inside the South Carolina 10. This game could easily be 24-0. Missouri gets the ball to start the second half. This is a no contest right now. We said coming into this game, this was a give a damn game, right? You heard me say that on our pregame show with Chris Clark from Gamecock Central. I said it's a give a damn game. Missouri has every reason to give a damn, and I'm not sure South Carolina does. And so far tonight, South Carolina just hasn't. And I don't want to take away from Missouri. Missouri's played well, especially on defense. They deserve credit. So I'm not trying to take credit away from Missouri in saying that. I'm just saying that South Carolina looks like a team whose coach got fired, whose best players quit, and who just kind of want to get finished with the whole thing and don't really seem to care right now. So, when you add all those things together, what you get is a complete and total domination. And Ragnar points out, yes, opponent sucks. And tonight, opponent has sucked. South Carolina's been really bad. Missouri's been good. That's not discrediting what Missouri has done. Because I think Missouri has played a good game, but I don't know if Missouri's had to play a good game. Like, this has not been an A game from Missouri, I don't think. I think this, I don't know, I'd say A game on defense, C+ on offense. Like, it's been decent, not terrible, but it hasn't been really good on offense. So, basically what you're getting is a B game out of Missouri, and that's enough to completely be dominating a South Carolina team that is, look, they're not good to begin with. Missouri's better to begin with, but playing, I don't know, like a D game maybe. Excuse me. T Rise says if you score on the first drive in the second half, I'd like to see a little Brady Cook. I'm actually going to disagree. Connor Bazelak is a young guy. He's only started like 6 games. I want to develop him. If he's your guy for the future, give him a bunch of snaps. Now, give Brady Cook a couple drives, maybe in the fourth quarter. Let him hand off, throw a couple short passes. But I don't think you go with Cook for significant time. I don't think you play him until at least the fourth quarter. That's where I'd be anyway. I would stick with Bazelak through minimum the first 3 quarters. Real quick, while we're at halftime, want to once again thank Call Gentry Law Group for sponsoring this On the Call with Power Mizzou. We do this every week, just kind of a game watch along. Every time Missouri is playing, I shouldn't say every week. It's been a few weeks. So, but want to thank them for making this possible, and thank all you guys for being here. This is the biggest crowd we've had for a watch along, and whether that's just because there hadn't been a game in a while, whether everybody's at home, whether you don't like the broadcast, whether you can't find SEC alternate, whatever the reason is, you're here. We appreciate you being here. A lot of the guys, T. Rise, Eric, Justin, Patrick, a lot of you guys have been here with us, pretty regularly throughout the season. But some of you all also are here for the first time, and I think we even have a couple South Carolina fans on here. So appreciate that, and hope you guys are finding this to be something worthwhile, and maybe will join us next week when they play Arkansas. It's an 11 a.m. game. That'll be just me because Mitch will be at the stadium. Then the following week, they'll be at Mississippi State, and then finish up with 2 home games against Vanderbilt and Georgia, if obviously, circumstances allow that. That is what we are hopeful is going to happen the rest of this season. So we talked a little bit about it. Missouri has an excellent shot to end up in 3rd place in the SEC East, and we've got Eric asking if JG Tate can join the post-game call. JG is covering a game of his own right now. He is on live at auburnsports.com. Auburn is, I believe, tied with Tennessee 10-10. Auburn now leads Tennessee 13-10 in the 3rd quarter. So I'm going to update those SEC scores for you real quick. So if Auburn wins that game, Missouri basically has, I think like a 2-game lead for 3rd place in the SEC East. Now, that doesn't sound super impressive, right? I get it. But if you had started this year and said in a 10-game all-SEC schedule, Missouri's going to finish 3rd in the SEC East, I mean, you guys would have, A, taken that in a heartbeat, and B, maybe nominated Eli Drinkwitz for Coach of the Year. And I don't think he's going to get it. But, who knows? If they can beat Georgia and get 6-4, who knows? But I think everybody would have taken 3rd in the East to start the season. And I'm going to run through the standings for you real quick here in the SEC East, because who cares about the West? So Florida's 6-1. Florida's basically, they've already beaten Georgia. They're a game and a half from clinching the spot in the SEC title game. Georgia's 4-2 right now in a tie with Mississippi State in the 3rd quarter. If Georgia loses that, they're 4-3. Missouri's 3-3. Missouri actually could find itself playing for 2nd in the East pretty soon. But if we're going to think Georgia hangs on, they'll be 5-2. If Missouri wins tonight, which it certainly looks like it will, they'll be 3-3. Kentucky is 3-5. Tennessee looking at slipping to 2-5. South Carolina to 2-6, and Vanderbilt already at 0-7. So, look, again, the path for Missouri is very simple: be a better team than Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt every year, or pretty regularly. So, if you can do that this year in year 1 of Eli Drinkwitz, you feel great about that. Then, if you can do it again in year 2, then all of a sudden you're starting to talk about establishing yourself as the 3rd best program in the SEC East, and then you've really got something to build on. So that's impressive. So Dustin Ludy Dustin, appreciate it, man. Maybe you've been here before, but haven't seen you, so appreciate it if you're a first time chatter with us here on this. Joining late. Sorry if you've talked about it. What are your thoughts about Dove's emergence, and what do you think he might be for this team moving forward? I think I think he's clearly earned starters reps. I think he's like a good number 2 receiver. I think Jalen Knox is this team's number 1 option probably in the passing game. But Towski Dove he's impressed me. I think he's been better. I wasn't sure he was a guy that ever actually would be a contributor, and he has turned into one. Deserves a lot of credit for that, and is a guy that I think has earned more snaps, no question, down the stretch. Ragnar says he's free to join the postgame show. Look, I'll give you guys the number now. We'll give it out again plenty on the postgame show. But it's 573-234-4935 when the postgame show starts, and which is 45-ish minutes after the end of the game. Basically, game ends. I jump over onto Eli Drinkwitz's press conference. I record that. We come back. We play Drinkwitz's press conference. Then we take your calls. That's the way that goes. So, generally about 45 minutes after the end of the game. End of the game, probably 9:45-ish tonight, maybe 10 o'clock. So post-game, hopefully on the air by 10:30. Ragnar, we'd love to have you call in, man. Now, co-host, I can't give that away quite yet. But we'd love to have you call in, even though I can't really pronounce your screen name. Arkansas game next week is going to be fun and huge. A win versus Arkansas and Odom would be huge for the program, as they should beat Vandy and a chance to beat Mississippi State. I agree. Arkansas is the difference between what I look at as 6-4 being likely and 5-5 being likely, assuming Missouri again hangs on to win this game, because Arkansas is the second best team left on Missouri's schedule. They play everybody close. It's not going to be easy. They're going to be super motivated for that game. That's the second toughest game on Missouri's schedule, and it's, even though Georgia's looks like it looks and all that Georgia's still the toughest game on Missouri's schedule, no question. Better be back to full strength against the Odom defense. I'd be surprised if Missouri's going to be back to full strength next week. I think they'll be at fuller strength, but I would be surprised by full strength, to be quite honest with you. Arkansas offense looks pedestrian at best. Odom has that defense looking pretty good. Yeah. Look, Felipe Franks is still the quarterback. That's a thing. But, LSU had 27, backup quarterback, but LSU has been better than that against a lot of teams. How did Tennessee fall so quickly week 2? I thought they looked pretty good. Yeah, I think Missouri got their best effort. Missouri wasn't settled in yet, didn't really know what it was doing. They're showing Basilak's stats on SEC Network, and he's actually been better than I thought. 13 of 21 for 140, a touchdown and a pick. It's not a phenomenal game, but it's solid, and he has had some misfires. He hasn't been as accurate tonight as he's been in some other games. But overall, I think he's probably been a little bit better than I gave him credit for. So, hey, let me, now that Mitch isn't here for a few minutes, let me move that button, which is something I've done a couple times tonight. So anyway, I'm back on your screen. Mitchell will be back in a few minutes. He is, I believe right now, uploading some halftime thoughts to the message board. So I'm hanging out with you guys. When he comes back, I'm probably actually going to take a break for a couple minutes. Been talking a lot. I need some water. Got to maybe put some eye drops in. Been sitting in front of the computer screen staring for a while, but we will definitely be here with you for the entire second half. And again, we were talking about Tennessee. Eric wanted to know how they fell so quick. I don't know, man. I haven't watched every game, but Kentucky went in and just absolutely steamrolled them, and Kentucky's not any good. I mean, Kentucky's a bad team, that really started them down the wrong path. Mike Thompson, first time commenting. Appreciate you being here again, everybody. We appreciate everybody who's been here every week, but we always like bringing new people in, and hopefully you guys enjoy what we're doing. If you do, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that. Tell people kind of what we're doing, just a different way to watch the game. But Mike's saying, I have a really important question. What boulevard are you going with tonight? So the way I always do this is I make you tune in to the post-game show to find out what the boulevard of the week is. Now, I will also admit that I had a whole schedule built out before the season, right? For this game, I'm doing this Boulevard. I kind of themed it toward opponents and all that. Um, and I can't remember what I originally had for the South Carolina game. But I've changed it up a little bit for a couple reasons. First of all, because I've got a lot of spare Boulevard around, so I want to drink what I have before I just go buy another 6-pack. And also because the schedule has changed so much, it's just look, I'm just drinking what's in the fridge right now. So it's going to be an assortment tonight. We're going to have a few different ones, but I can tell you that that we're starting off with an excellent one. We'll just say that we're going to start strong and maybe get even stronger. We'll see how it goes for what has been so far a very good effort from Missouri. Haven't watched the game as Heismeyer played on defense. We have not seen Drake Heismeyer on defense. I can't promise that means he hasn't played because obviously, look, there are things you might miss, especially when you're watching on the broadcast. I'm trying to see. He definitely does not have any defensive stats. Now he could have played and not acquired any stats yet. We don't get a live participation report. We don't get that usually until after the game. So I can't tell you for sure. I do not think at this point that Drake Heismeyer has played. But we have seen some new guys on the field. Jay Macklin's been on the field. Elijah Young was on the field and got a carry. Jalen Carlise has played a fair amount. So we've seen some new guys in the game. Bradley's asking what kind of bowl game and what type of opponent. I got to be honest, Bradley, it's so hard to know this year because which bowl games are going to be played. And there are no eligibility requirements really. I would assume leagues are still going to work with bowls and say, hey, you're our partner. You normally take the number 3 team in our league. Please continue to take the number 3 team in our league, not the number 8 team, because attendance shouldn't figure in. So let's assume Florida, Alabama, Auburn, A&M, and Georgia finish above Missouri in the pecking order. Florida, Alabama, Auburn, A&M, Georgia. So that would make Missouri the 6th team in the SEC pecking order. I saw a projection earlier this week that had them in the Gator Bowl, the Tax Slayer Bowl, I think. The opponent was Boston College, but Missouri plays them next September. I wouldn't think that's something you'd do. But I think you're looking at a Gator, probably not Outback, but maybe Outback type bowl. Citrus is probably a little high, but Outback Gator in that range if Missouri finishes strong and gets to 5-5, 6-4. Arkansas could leapfrog them. Ole Miss could theoretically leapfrog them, but I think you're looking at something in that Tax Slayer type range. Maybe Music City I think is a little bit lower in the pecking order. I'd have to look at it. I'm not sure. Tennessee is running on Auburn like they ran the ball against Mizzou. Let me check in on the SEC scores real quick and see what that is. Tennessee might be running, but they're now down 20-10. So, that's looking probably like an Auburn win. Tennessee slipping to 2-5 with a 5th straight loss. I think it's possible that we have Mitchell Forde back. I don't know. I don't see him yet, but I do hear him. We will get back to him shortly when he comes on. I don't get SEC alternate. Thanks for what you guys are doing, Matt. I appreciate it, man. I'll be honest. If you guys are, especially with basketball season coming up, I really would, I'm not doing commercials for these guys or anything, but get ESPN Plus. It's $5 a month, something like that. I get it for $5 a month because I have Hulu and Disney Plus. So get ESPN Plus because that gets you can turn it on your TV. I use Roku, but whatever you might use. And if you get ESPN Plus, you can get the SEC alternate channel I think. I mean, it might depend a little bit on where you live, but you're going to want SEC Plus and ESPN Plus if you want to see basketball games. I mean, it's going to be difficult to see everything without those. So, but again, not discouraging you from joining us here. We're thrilled to have everybody here, and if you can't see the game, then we're glad that you guys have an alternative. But I really would check into ESPN Plus. We've got Mitchell back on. I've got to get this little logo off of his face here, so we can bring him in. So yeah, Mitch, I don't know, 17-0. We looked at the stats; they were actually far more dominating than that. It kind of feels like it really shouldn't be a game in the second half, and now all of a sudden we're looking at Arkansas. We're looking at Arkansas as kind of the delineation between a team that might be able to finish 6-4 this season.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, first of all, yeah, I agree with the sentiment that it probably shouldn't even be this close. I mean, Missouri has dominated this game. You think they don't throw an interception, get a field goal there, and then, that's at least 3 points, maybe 7 on that drive. You could possibly have 4 more out of that last drive of the second half. It could be something like 28-0 right now. South Carolina hasn't even threatened to score. So, if this game becomes at all interesting in the second half, that would be, a disappointment for Missouri. And then, Arkansas, has lost 2 games in a row. Mississippi State's a mess. Vanderbilt's a mess.
Mississippi State
6 wins would be really impressive. I know that some of these teams maybe are a little worse than we thought coming into the season, but I mean, I thought it was going to be like 2 or 3 wins against an all-SEC schedule, so that would be a heck of a first year for Eli Drinkwitz and company.
I picked them 3-7. I mean, 6-4 against this schedule is like a 9-3 season. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Mississippi State, like you said, they're a mess. They're also tied with Georgia, 17-17 with 12 minutes left in the third quarter, which is bizarre. So.
Georgia, like I said earlier, maybe Missouri actually, it would have been better for them if they played Georgia last week, because Georgia's in a little bit of a turmoil right now.
Yeah, so it looks like the third quarter is about to start. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take my video off, Mitch. I know you can see the comments, and so I don't think you can add them to the broadcast, but you'll be able to respond to people.
I cannot,
Yeah, I'm gonna take like a 5-minute break. I got to go get some water, but I will be back in a few minutes, and I'm sure Mitchell is fully capable of holding down the fort.
Yeah, sounds good. I see on here that there's some talk about a brawl at the halftime of Bedlam. That would be exciting. I hope if that's the case. I do not have it on right now, but I will monitor Twitter and keep an eye out for footage of that. That would be fun. Let's see. What is our average kickoff or punt return? I assume, so that's a question from KC Salts. I assume you're asking about the season. Let me look. It's not going to be a ton, but the average will be higher than 0. Actually, the touchbacks and fair catches don't count as a return, so they don't count against the average. And this also won't include returns tonight. Missouri's average punt return, 2.3 yards. Missouri's average kickoff return, 18.7 yards. That is number 83 in the country on the kickoff returns. I think for the punt returns, they're around a number 100 in the country. Not amazing, especially when you consider 3 muffs on the punt return game. Not exactly ideal, but a little better tonight. Had a return or 2. Let's see. If Missouri had an elite offensive line and better wide receivers, think Connor could be in the conversation for Heisman. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's always one of those tough hypotheticals. Like, well, if he just played for Alabama, could he be Mac Jones? I don't know. It's possible, but he doesn't. So you never kind of know until you see someone in that situation. I mean, I don't really feel like the offensive line and the receivers have let him down tonight. I mean, Toski Dove made a heck of a catch on his touchdown. There was one drop, but it was a tip pass. There was, he's been knocked down a couple of times, but I don't think he's really been pressured too heavily. So I think, I don't know. I think it might be a little early to say that. I think there's definitely a reason to be optimistic about Connor Bazelak, but a little early to talk about him as a Heisman candidate, even if he had better positions around him. Speaking of, not a great first series there. That throw just never, that pattern was covered and behind Bear Bannister never really had a chance. That time Connor Bazelak did actually get pressured. Let me see a replay here. Well, yeah, so looks like there was a little bit on the left side. Zeke Powell went inside, and then a man came out around him, and maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there with Luke Griffin, who is new playing next to him. So I was just saying the offensive line hadn't been too bad, and they got after Connor Bazelak a little bit on that one. So that would have been, you know, a drive there where if Missouri gets points, it's pretty much over. But you still feel like Missouri is well in control of this game, I would say. Missouri is very conservative on fair catches of punts. Yeah, that's something we were talking about in the first half. That's a comment from my fellow Mitchell Bennett. You know, Eric Link, the special teams coordinator, said this season, earlier this season, after all the muffs, like priority number one is to catch the ball and give it to our offense. And until we can do that, we're not going to start returning. So they finally, I guess, feel like they found someone who can do that in Cade Musser. He's officially now allowed to return punts. I don't know if he's the type of game-breaking athlete who's going to bring a lot of big ones, but if he can avoid muffing it, that is progress for sure. Looks like a different quarterback in. That's the guy who ran for South Carolina in the first half, Dowell or Doyd or something like that. He actually throws there. We'll be curious to see. For you all with audio, let me know if they talked about that at halftime at all. Sideline reporter or anything, if he's going to be the full-time starter for this half or if it's just a short-term deal here. Let me look if it's like a package deal. Luke Doty, that was his name. Got a decent throw there, just a drop. Well, he's very mobile, that's for sure. Wow, big scramble for a first down on second down. He got about 15, 20 yards. Patrick Aarons already says not a fan of this new QB. Mizzou has had its fair share of experiences with backups coming in and having success against them. We'll see. We'll see. It's I know it's not. People are worried. I know it's not a perfect start to the half, but I wouldn't panic. But I do think it was important, obviously, for South Carolina to get a. Marcus Burke says if Connor Shaw is in that body, I'm scared. Yes, if it's Connor Shaw, should be worried, as we know. It was big for South Carolina to get a stop on that first possession, obviously, and get some sense of momentum. We'll see if they rallied the troops a little bit at halftime. Did finally get a successful. I think that was the best run for Kevin Harris, 13 yards. Yeah, that was his long of the day. So getting the run game going a little bit. It looks to me like, they're showing, Connor Hill on the sidelines. And again, those of you with audio, let me know what they're saying. But it looks to me like, Colin Hill. It looks to me like South Carolina is probably going to roll with Luke Doty here in the second half. Especially given the fact that this has been maybe their best drive of the night so far. Although, wow, he just got rocked right there. That can't have felt very good. Trying to see who that was coming on the blitz that got him square in the chest. Looks like he popped up pretty quick. Patrick says new quarterback just lost his spleen. He took that pretty well. It was Devin Nicholson right to the chest. That looked like it hurt. It could not have felt good. Andy Speller says, is it forecast to rain in the second and third quarter too? It would be wild if we just combined all the past Mizzou, South Carolina heartbreak into one. Have a new quarterback come in and lead them to success and a rainstorm. I don't think that is in the forecast, but you never know. Yeah, I definitely anticipate, just the way these first few plays have gone, that they're going to roll with Doty here in the second half. Why not? He's clearly given a little bit of a spark. It looks almost a little bit. It reminds me of hair like Connor Bazelak in that Tennessee game. So yeah, we'll see. But definitely a game that, as of about 3 minutes ago, we were talking about being kind of over, is a little more interesting right now. Certainly, South Carolina has some ground to make up. But.
Okay, so I just got back. How did Missouri lose the ball so quickly?
Missouri went 3 and out, 3 for -1, 3 plays for -1 yards, punted, and then South Carolina brought in this second quarterback. I believe his name is Luke Doty.
Okay.
And he's very mobile. He scrambled for 14 yards, and then they got a decent run for Kevin Harris, and then he's completed a couple passes. And Mizzou fans are already convinced he's the reincarnation of Connor Shaw.
Well, sorry, I had to angry type there real quick. I also had to take my contacts out because I was going to stab myself in the eyes pretty soon. So.
Oh, glad you didn't have to do that. Doty has also taken some licks. He got rocked by Devin
That
Nicholson.
was a nice shot by Gillespie, too.
I was just saying right there, by Tyree Gillespie hit him pretty hard.
Mitch, Mike Thompson's wanting to know if you got a 40 Sucks shirt from your father, which I saw on Twitter. I enjoyed it.
I have not gotten one yet. I'm thinking, Christmas is coming up. That's all I asked for. So I'm thinking I might get one here in a few weeks.
I wish all my kid was asked for is a T-shirt. See,
I'm joking.
I am shocked it took this long, but not shocked that it was our friend Ragnar who called me studious with the eyeglasses. So I was actually expecting something maybe a little more insulting. I also feel like we reached a milestone tonight. We got our first YouTube dislike. So somebody not only did not like the show, they actively disliked it.
Someone was very unsatisfied. That is, I got to be honest, that's a bit disappointing.
Maybe they tried to tune in while I was had the audio killing everyone's eardrums in the pregame show.
That's possible. That sounds like something I would dislike. So South Carolina headed to a field goal, or trying a field goal here. Let's see how long it is.
They're going to make it. It's
47.
47. Yeah. Are we a little bit surprised that they didn't go for it on 4th and 4?
Yeah, I think I am a little bit, but I understand it. You finally have a little bit of momentum. You do something right. You don't want it to end in a deflating, kind of turnover on downs, and
that essentially ends the game, I guess.
That makes it a 2-score game again. I mean, you're down 17. You need a field goal in there theoretically. Of course, that's assuming Missouri doesn't score again, but.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I was just I don't disagree with it. I thought maybe they would go for it.
Yeah, I think it was probably a discussion for sure.
Okay, so balancing out our dislike is the Breakfast King seal of approval. So I feel like that's worth more than the dislike.
Are you kidding me? A king? We don't even know who disliked, but we have a king of one of the three.
Of an entire meal.
The king of the most important meal of the day likes our show. That's all I need.
I kind of feel like low-key it's also the worst meal of the day.
Well, yeah, I think it's my least favorite, but it's called the most important, and we don't want to insult Breakfast King.
That's okay. Yeah. All right, so we've still got a game. It's not over.
Yeah, it's not over.
If Missouri can go score here, I think it's over.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, you don't want, you're fine with, 1 3 and out and 1 South Carolina field goal, but you don't want these things to kind of snowball into all of a sudden South Carolina gets some momentum.
Because you go 3 and out again, and all of a sudden, you really might find yourself in a game. Yeah. Maybe it's just that it's been 6 months since we've watched a football game, but the commercials in the halftime seem crazy long tonight.
Yeah, well, it's always harder too when we're doing this and we have to fill that space.
True.
It's for me. I just feel like this has not been the most stimulating game.
Yeah, there hadn't been a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, Georgia's finally winning, so they got that going for them.
Well, that's about time.
It would be kind of interesting to see them lose that game.
Yeah, I mean, the fan base would not take it well. Obviously, they can't actually fire Kirby Smart, but there would be talks on their message board about it.
Oh, well, there are talks on the message board of firing everybody who loses. Like,
Right.
Mike Bobo is getting fired tonight. Now, in reality, Mike Bobo is getting fired in about 3 weeks anyway. But, you know.
Right.
JT Daniels, though, 19 of 23 for 280 and 3 touchdowns. It doesn't look like his fault they're not playing well.
Yeah, maybe they should have played him sooner.
Yeah,
Jeez, that will really anger the Georgia fans.
Right. I think they should just quit putting people back on kickoffs. Like,
Yeah.
nobody ever returns them, and apparently Mississippi State has already tied the game. So,
Wow.
Georgia's defense.
I wish we were watching that one. It sounds more interesting.
It really does. Maybe I'll just flip that over on my. Maybe I'll just watch the stat broadcast and pretend to be watching the Missouri game, but I'm really watching Mississippi State Georgia.
I'll know because you'll suddenly be like at real time again and be way ahead of me.
Yeah. Well, my broadcast is currently just a spinning circle, so I'm not going to be ahead of anyone.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I mean,
first down for Missouri, Larry Roundtree ran for 0 yards.
Well, I'm staring at a picture of goalposts superimposed over. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Ragnar brings up a good point. We got to get you a background. That's our next Power Mizzou investment.
I would be okay with it.
Yeah. Or we could just paint your wall. This is actually just the wall of my office.
Just your whole house. That's your wallpaper in your whole home. Casey Schultz says, "Where's that drink trickeration?" I mean, first of all,
you don't need to. I don't think.
Yeah, there was actually kind of some creative play. I mean, we had a play where Larry Roundtree was the quarterback, and then we had a jet sweep for Elijah Young with 3 running backs on the field. That's kind of unique. You don't need to go crazy out of your way to do trick plays against a game like this that you should be in control of, because if it doesn't work, then you're an idiot. Right. And we saw against Florida, you try to run a reverse, you lose 18 yards, and then you give up a touch that can hurt the momentum.
And realistically, if you score one more time, you're winning this game. Now, if it's on this drive, great. If it's in 3 drives, that's okay too. I understand everybody wants to win 48-3. But all you got to do is win and have Tyler Beatty make plays like that. You score one. You don't really have to do much. Getting a couple first downs and punting is not the worst offense in this game.
Right. Yeah, it's a different situation than the LSU game where you go in thinking, oh, we're playing the defending national champs and we're going to need to score 50 points to win this game or something like that. Now, obviously, LSU, isn't as good as we thought it coming into that game, but still.
I'll say this. I haven't really noticed Luke Griffin tonight, so that's a good thing.
No, I was saying there was one on that first drive of the 3 and out to start the second half. There was looked like maybe a little miscommunication between him and Zeke Powell, and really probably Zeke Powell's fault. The guy came around the edge and pressured Connor Bazelak, forcing incompletion on 3rd down. But other than that, I think he seems to have done a fine job.
Yeah, especially for a 3rd stringer who's never been on the field before.
Absolutely.
Thoughts on Florida? I think they're good. I think they hurt themselves today by letting Vanderbilt hang around. I don't think they're a playoff team because I don't think they go beat Alabama, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's simple for them. Yeah, they have to win out, but if they don't, I don't think they're in. I don't think you get in with 2 losses.
Or, as the Breakfast King says, Florida is still a bunch of dirtbags. So we could have just said that and covered bases. Schiff brings up, though, something who we like for the South Carolina job. I like Billy Napier or Scott Satterfield. I think those are your first 2 calls.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I know that's boring, but Napier makes the most sense, right? He's clearly predi to take that next step. Someone's going to hire him. He's got experience working for Nick Saban, which everyone loves. Saban protege kind of. He also has head coaching experience. He wants to be in the Southeast. He makes sense to me. Because I don't think they're going to go out and get Hugh Freeze. I don't I don't see it. I don't know. I don't see them taking that big of a leap for him and having the SEC get on board. It's possible, but I'd be surprised. And yeah, I think Napier makes the most sense. I think Scott Satterfield would be a good call. I think he's a really good coach. Who's
Louisville. Would he take that?
In Louisville. Man, I don't know. So, maybe the SEC East is a little easier, but still, like SEC has its perks, right? You got the resources and all that, but it's a tough. I mean, you go to South Carolina, you're playing Clemson every year. Right. I don't know who their crossover rival is for the West, but I'm sure it's someone decent. And you're playing
it's A&M.
All these good teams every year. Like at Louisville, you have pretty good resources. You have a solid fan base for sure. I mean, you have it's a pretty big city. You should always be able to fill the stadium, and you really you play Clemson, and that's kind of it. Like if you can. Right. If you can have things line up, 10-2, 11-1 year is not out of the question, even if your team's not like incredibly good. So I don't know. It's a tough call. I'm sure it'll kind of come down to resources, but yeah.
All right. So, Mitch, you were asking earlier if Ed was going to pay up on our bet on the Florida Vandy game. He is here to do so. Asking where we want lunch. And Ed, I'll definitely be in contact with you when we get past Thanksgiving and probably Christmas and settle down a little bit. We'll figure something out. Ed gave me Vandy plus 40, and I didn't really feel good about it, but Vandy covered, so that's good. Did the game say more about Florida or Vandy? I think it simply just said Florida was about as interested as Georgia and South Carolina appear to be in their games tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they came in there thinking they were going to roll.
Oh, whoa. I looked away, and then I looked back down, and everyone had quit playing except the guy that just trucked Connor Bazelak.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they didn't flag that. I know it wasn't like the hardest hit, but, I mean, shoot, sometimes that kind of contact against the quarterback in a live without the whistle blowing is a flag, much less after a play's been blown dead.
Yeah.
The way they protect quarterbacks, I'm surprised.
So, geez, another drive that just I don't know, just little progress.
I don't know where nothing. Really tough 2 plays for Javon Foster after he jumps off sides and then gets just roasted for the sack there. Not ideal.
Oh, I mean, yeah, not close. And Case Cook got beat pretty good on the same play. They were both in the backfield trying to catch somebody. So this drive going backwards in a hurry, but also this drive took like 4 minutes off the clock. It kind of achieved its objective.
Yeah.
Let's see. They took over with 10:30. Yeah, they took 5 minutes and 1 second off the clock on that drive. That's fine. I mean, yeah, you'd like to have scored. You're probably going to need to score again maybe to win this game, but
yeah, I think my thing is, I mean, there's absolutely no reason to panic or anything, but you do like I said earlier, one punt, one field goal, these things don't hurt you by themselves. But if you start letting South Carolina get some momentum is where you get worried. Basically, if they all of a sudden go down and score here, it's okay, maybe now it's time to worry.
But your defense,
but it's something to monitor.
I mean, your defense has been really good all night. South Carolina has 111 total yards. Now, granted, 43 of them were on the last drive, but they have 111 yards in this whole game. Basically, you're asking your defense, just go out there and keep doing what you've been doing. As long as they get a stop here, you're not really concerned. I mean, that's just kind of where it is. Now, Scott says they need to stop running the ball and open up the pass, but I don't know. You're burning time. The whole goal here is just get to the and this is where I think, obviously, watching the game is a little bit of a detached, it's your job, is different than watching the game as a fan. When you're a fan, you want it to be a video game, and I get it, because, I watched the Chiefs this way, right? I mean, they're up by 14 points at the end of 3 quarters, and I'm like, well, they haven't really played very good, and they should be up by 29. Well, who cares? They're ahead by 14. Missouri is dominating this game. So I get that you want to win 41-6, but it doesn't really matter if you do. Just win the game.
Yeah. Well, I think also, I mean, like, the comment was about, running less and opening up the pass. Like, first of all, you have one healthy quarterback. You really don't want to
That's a
drop
good
back to
point.
pass every play unless you have to, because you're one hit away from having Brady Cook back
Behind
there,
an
and then it's
offensive
actually
line, by the way, that just ushered two guys into the backfield like on a red carpet.
Exactly. So, you got to weigh that risk. Two, obviously passing is inherently more risky from a turnover standpoint. So, like, it's just one of those things where, like, yes, you don't want the offense to stall. You're not totally at the point where you're running out clock or anything like that. But you should, there's no reason to just start throwing bombs when you're winning by 14 points, especially against an offense that is still, I know they just looked better with this quarterback on the last play, but it has still not exactly shown that it's like, a tremendous machine or anything here.
Right. Right. And like Mitchell says, it's not a Mizzou, South Carolina game without somewhat of a lull somewhere along the line, right? I mean,
true.
It's not going to be easy. You do still have Nick Bolton, so that's helpful.
He has definitely been the best player on the field tonight.
Again, Breakfast King made his lucky chili, so that's really.
Breakfast King, what's in? Let us know. You don't have to give us the whole recipe if it's a secret. But I want to know what's in the chili. Just give me the gist. I'm curious
if there are leftovers for breakfast, and that's why he's the Breakfast King.
Wow, that would be strong.
Breakfast chili is not a great idea. Oh, by the way, South Carolina's starting this drive at the 6. Like, that's another thing here, right? They've got to go 94 yards. They barely have 94 yards all game. And if they get 94 yards, it's probably going to take the rest of this quarter. But really, they need a touchdown. Like, they're at the point now, a field goal doesn't do any good. It cuts it from 14 to 11. That doesn't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, they pretty much need touchdowns. I mean, they would try to take a field goal on this drive with a whole quarter left. But, yeah, it doesn't really hurt Missouri very much.
Trey Williams came so far down inside on that pitch play. Like, he was almost at the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Wow, he was. Yeah. And then Devin Nicholson got blocked a little bit. Still
Eric says Doty is the better QB, and he does look like it. You always wonder a little bit when it changes, right? I mean, how much that flips things.
Yeah, I mean, for one, I think I don't know if it's. First of all, I don't know if he's the better QB, but I think his legs have been a little bit of a factor. I mean, he's gotten at least one first down that way. You can see on that bootleg there, like, he's able to get out of the pocket and move to find a receiver. I think him being able to run opened things up for Kevin Harris a bit. But also, it just might be one of those things where, you go into halftime, your coach says, we're changing quarterbacks, let's get it together. Maybe, maybe a little sense of urgency.
Man, when Tyree Gillespie hits people, you notice it. Like,
yes.
I bet there are some dudes that wake up feeling terrible after they play him. I mean, for everybody getting nervous, South Carolina's still at like the 40, so,
They're on the 31 for me.
Well, 31 for me too, but they're moving.
Apparently weird things are starting to happen. I'd be curious to see how weird these things actually are.
Okay, so people are saying this shouldn't be a flag on Ennis Rakestraw, so let's see. I want to see a replay. I mean, the receiver clearly went down on the ground, but I don't know if he was forced on the ground or if he just fell.
Yeah, I don't love that call. I don't know. I mean, the receiver managed to pretty much get both hands on the football.
Yeah, it looked like maybe Rakestraw had him hooked with his left arm and kind of pulled him. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I don't love it.
So that's a nice play on first down by well, we got another flag. Yeah. Let's see who this one's on.
I was going to say, we've now reached the portion of the programming where we have penalties on every play.
Martez Manuel should probably talk to the other team less.
Yeah.
Okay, holding on South Carolina. There you go. Scott, I get what you're saying. Can't let off the gas pedal. I do get it. I just don't think this is a game where you're going to need more than 20 to 24 points to win. I get what you're saying, though. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of said, like, we're not talking about just running the clock out, but we're also saying it's not time to, like, abandon the run.
Right.
Oh, wow. That was a nifty little move from Doty. Also, yeah, he got hit.
Yeah, if he finishes this game, I'll be pretty impressed.
Yeah. He looks pretty sturdily built.
Yeah, Doty taking a number of shots.
Oh, man, just another one right there. I don't know if you saw on the speed option key.
On the second down play?
Yeah. I mean, that's at least 4 notable shots he's taken in 2 drives. But also, as Patrick Aarons points out, I mean, he doesn't really seem to be a threat to throw downfield, which works in Missouri's favor right here. I mean, you're talking about, if South Carolina running the ball every play and Missouri running the ball, like, this has been a fast third quarter.
Yeah, I've only seen him throw one pass. I mean, it was a good pass, but who is that?
Akil Byers, which
not great.
Mizzou's thin there. Gotta wonder if we're getting close to Drake Heismeyer territory.
Well, somebody was asking at halftime if he had played, and I said I didn't think so. He has no stats, but we don't have the participation report yet.
And we don't know what number he is right now. Like, I assume he probably changed.
Would he have to change numbers?
Position. You don't have to, but a lot of times they do. I don't know. It's maybe not, because there's not. I think he's like 65, or there's probably not already a 65 on the defense, so he might have been okay. Yeah. I don't know, but
Marcus
I haven't seen him.
Marcus is asking if we watched Martez Manuel in high school. I really didn't much, just because, like, my son was gone from Rockbridge, and I don't watch a lot of high school football. Like, I don't go to games. My kids aren't playing it unless I'm working, unless I'm covering them. But, Sean covers our recruiting mostly. So
I saw him at night at the zoo.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I mean, he was a good player, definitely in high school. I don't know if he was I wasn't sure he was. I'm surprised how quickly he's become as good a player as he has here. I didn't think it would happen that quickly.
I mean, his other offers were from, like, Wyoming and Michigan State and some other non-Power 5 schools. Like, he was definitely not considered like a blue chip recruit by any means. But he's been a solid player so far.
Finish Strong's getting a little pessimistic. Says he doesn't think Mizzou is ready for Arkansas. I want to point out Arkansas has lost 2 straight. They lost today to an LSU team that Missouri beat. LSU was playing a backup quarterback. They gave up 63 to Florida and lost by more than Missouri did. Arkansas is much better than they were last year, but I feel like we're starting to get to the point where Arkansas is getting a little too much credit for just being quite a bit better than the worst SEC team we've seen. Like, they're still below average to average, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, they're almost like kind of what I thought Missouri might be coming into this season, like a 3-win team. You pull out maybe one upset, beat kind of a toss-up type game, play some teams tough, but like they do have a brutal schedule.
They're also in the West, right?
Yeah.
Ragnar's pulling for what you've been wanting all night. He wants Mevis on the D-line now.
Here's my pledge to all of our viewers and everyone out there. If Harrison Mevis gets some time on the D-line, that is all I will write about this week. I will write about nothing else. That is it. Every question in the post game, we'll get Connor Bazelak. Connor, what'd you think of Harrison's performance at defensive tackle? That's all I'll ask.
There you go. With the mask on, by the way, I'm not 100% convinced that that's not Will Muschamp coaching South Carolina. I think it's possible.
That would be funny if he came in disguise.
The Bobby Valentine approach?
Yeah. Cut his hair.
So, I did Manuel bat that pass down because I completely lost track of the ball on that play.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
Manuel was celebrating as if he knocked it down, so he must have. I don't know. You get so used to seeing a game in person or on a big screen TV that watching on a 15-inch laptop is a little bit,
yeah,
you know. Oh, Justin's back from the Jaeger bomb. Said they need some points and get the momentum back. Again, points end it. If you score here, this game pretty much over. I don't think there's a lot of doubt about that, honestly. Auburn now stretching it out over Tennessee. That's 27-10. Mississippi State and Georgia tied into the fourth. Missouri and South Carolina playing what seems clearly to me to be the slowest game of the evening.
That I gotta say, that might have been the longest reception of Barrett Bannister's college career.
Oh, I flipped away from it. Oh,
yarder.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice little play. Mitchell says I should put a TV in my office. I know, but I'm just not there yet, man. I had a kid to send to college. We'll get there. I need more people to subscribe to Power Mizzou and the YouTube channel so I can get rich. That's the problem. Not enough Mitchells out there. Schiff, talking about next season and kicking off early. I don't mean to dodge this, but I'm just worried about if we have a game next Saturday right now. I can't start, I can't start thinking about if next season's affected and all that. It depresses me too much.
Yeah, it is. I don't think I can fathom.
So,
yes, COVID going on being as much of a factor in our lives 10 months from now, that would be.
Yeah, so people looking for creativity, that was Larry Roundtree and the Wildcat faking to Elijah Young and picking up a first down. And it was interesting.
Yeah, I actually thought if he would have, second or third time.
If he would have handed it to Elijah Young, I thought it would have been a first down. So Bobby Lawrence is in for Zeke Powell on this drive, it looks like, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so if you can carry our incredible analysis for a minute, I'm going to update the stats here at the end of this quarter.
All right, sounds good. I'm tweeting.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get through it. But Missouri still dominating, although maybe not quite to the level that it was dominating at halftime. South Carolina did manage to pick up 82 yards in that quarter, so that was a good quarter for them, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not pretty. It's not exciting, but Missouri has been far and away the better team. I know I'm not supposed to say this because my job is to cover football, and that's great. I love it and all, but it's been a really boring game, in my opinion. It's just not really stimulated me very much at all, especially that quarter. But again, when you get up, like we said, 14-0, 17-0 against a team that's kind of not shown much promise and definitely no ability to throw the ball downfield for South Carolina at all, you're fine to just kind of, I don't want to say run out the clock, but sustain drives, not take risks, be okay with playing the field position game and punting the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, so we're looking at the stats. Rushing yards now pretty close to even, Missouri with the 1 yard edge. Passing yards, Missouri with 118 more. So total yards is 269 to 150. First downs is 18 to 11. Missouri's losing the turnover battle, but it's close. Yards per play, 5.1 for Missouri, 3.3 for South Carolina. They're averaging almost 2 yards more per play. They're 3 for 3 in the red zone. South Carolina hasn't gotten to the red zone. Missouri has 7 tackles for loss. South Carolina has 3. There's no question. It's not quite as dominant, but this is very similar to the Kentucky game. Just kind of
Yeah.
you
You don't
feel
have like the
this-
eye-popping number like 90 plays to 30
Right.
or 46 minutes to 13 or whatever time of possession. But yeah, I mean it's just solidly controlled game. And by the way, like this is kind of what we thought, I think, coming into the season that Missouri was going to have to do to win games.
Yeah.
Stuff like against Kentucky and this one where, they're not, maybe like the LSU game maybe kind of threw people off a little bit because I think people were just then figuring out how bad LSU's defense was. But like Missouri, I always thought wasn't going to win games by scoring 40 points. It was going to win because its defense played well and it controlled the ball and limited mistakes and won 20-17, or in this case,
right.
20-10 or 20-6 or something like that.
And you do, like, you watch this game and you feel like Missouri should be winning by more, but there's also really no part of you that watches this game and thinks, I think they might lose. And not right. Me. I understand some people watching feel that way because, like, you're Missouri fans. I get it. Some of you just are kind of believe that's what's going to happen. My window seems completely frozen right now. I don't know if it's there. It's back. But yeah, I mean, Missouri is in control of this game, even if it hasn't quite put it all the way away. Is the way I would phrase it.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely in control. And I mean, like you said, there's never been a point where you feel like they're in danger of losing. So
now,
if you can get points here.
Right. If South Carolina scores here and Missouri goes 3-0, then that's a conversation we start to have. And then the conversation starts to become, well, they didn't put it away when they had the chance, and what if? But I don't think we're at that point yet.
No, certainly not. Todd Julian in the comments asked a question. Gibbs has done a great job thus far. Has he been a defensive coordinator? He has, I think on multiple occasions, but he's been around for a while. He's been in the NFL. He's been in a lot of college jobs.
I know he was a DC
at
Texas
was
Tech.
Defensive coordinator at Texas Tech, and I believe at Houston as well.
That's right. Yeah.
When they were good under Tom Herman, when they had some good years there.
Yeah. It's a boring game, but USC is boring, Mitchell says. So yeah, that's fair. Marcus is asking about
South Carolina wasn't boring last week when they gave up 800 yards.
Right. Last week was actually a really exciting game. Marcus is asking about Daniel Parker's injury. I don't think we know, do we?
I don't think so. If it's been said, I missed it. I don't think we know.
Yeah. Dan's asking if they win 6 games, do some like big programs come after Drinkwitz? I don't think after 1 year, really. I could be wrong. I mean, we don't know what jobs are going to be open and what people are looking for and all that. But here's an interesting conversation while we're still in kind of just a lull of a game. I was talking with our South Carolina guy. What if they fired Will Muschamp last year? Eli Drinkwitz might be there and not here.
Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, he had just beaten him, ties to the area.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's an interesting hypothetical. Also, Missouri lined up to go for it on 4th and 4 here. I'd be kind of surprised. See, are they going to?
I think they're drawing him off. Yeah. Trying to draw him off. I think I know people hate punting from the 37. I would punt from here.
I would too. Just given this game, yes, I would. I hate that. Yeah, like I kind of hate the idea, and I understand the logic for not punting in plus territory. But in this game, and with this much late in the game, you don't give South Carolina a short field. Make them go the length of the field twice and score 2 touchdowns.
This is a team. South Carolina hasn't made it past your 25-yard line, right?
Yeah.
Now they have to go the length of the field twice in 13 minutes and also keep you scoreless. I would just ask your kicker, ask Grant McKinnis to put it inside the 10. Now look, if he kicks it in the end zone and it's a touchback, then it was the wrong choice. And I'll admit, like kicking and only gaining 17 yards, you'd rather. Well, they took the delay of game. I think that's one South Carolina should be able to turn down.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe they can. I don't know, but. So I don't think Missouri called a timeout there. I think they took the.
No, they didn't. They took a delay of game and then they called a timeout.
Well, why?
I think there was worry about. I don't know, but I think there was worry about another delay of game or something.
Well,
I don't really know.
Then you're kicking from the 47, and he can actually put a leg into it. I would have taken another one. That's. I don't know what's going on there. You never take you should never have a timeout after a delay a game. But back to the
Eric Link was yelling at people. He was not thrilled.
Okay. So, but back to the discussion. Look, it is almost against everything I believe in to punt from inside the opponent's 40-yard line. I would do it on very, very rare occasions, but I would do it here. Your offense hasn't been great. Your defense has. You're in control. Make them go 90 yards instead of 60.
Yeah, absolutely. When they haven't shown they can do it. Yeah, for sure.
How hard is it to be a head coach?
So I remember what I was going to bring up. Someone said that there was a late substitution, so either they had too many men on the field or not enough. That must be why they called that timeout there.
Yeah, and why Eric Link was unhappy.
Yes.
How hard? But again, just take a delay game. Like back up to the 47. I agree. Yeah.
Maybe he was worried. Maybe there was worry that they were going to snap it with 10 guys on and have it blocked. I don't know.
And look, maybe you don't need that timeout down the stretch, but maybe you do. Marcus asks how hard it is to be a head coach and call plays. I mean, having done neither, it seems challenging.
I don't think I could do it, but also at the same time, I am required by my watchingness to second guess people who do it every single week. So
I'll say this:
clearly,
actually,
they're all idiots.
Sitting right here, I'm excellent at both of those things.
Yes,
exactly. I do a really good job. Being on the sideline, I would probably do a worse job.
Mm-hmm. I'm very good at pointing out where they messed up doing those things.
All right, we've got an NFL question during the timeout. What's the score of the Chiefs game tomorrow? And is Locke the quarterback of the Broncos in 2 years? Chiefs the Dickas are going to win 41-7 because they're mad the Raiders drove a bus around Arrowhead for some reason. Is all I know. So I will hand it off to you till we get back to the game. Talking to Drew Locke.
Locke, what was the question for next season?
Quarterback in 2 years.
In 2 years? Oh, 2 years. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I love his chances. Maybe, but he would have. I think he gets some time to. I think there's a decent chance he starts the season as Broncos quarterback next year. He's definitely going to get the rest of this season, but he needs to play better if he's going to be the quarterback in 2 years. And maybe he will. It's not impossible to think that he's young, he's inexperienced, but he needs to play better.
Good news for Missouri. According to Danny Ragland, the big schools just cost Drinkwitz off their short list for that timeout. So excellent news. He'll be here next year.
That timeout that's the difference.
So 42-yard line. Look, you kick this to the sideline, target at the 10, right? Just
it's down to the 13, looks like.
Okay. Cam Cameron thinks he's asking a question we've been asked a lot. We haven't actually been asked tonight. What's going on with Damon Hazelton? He's not played much at all, right?
Now, first of all, Cam Cameron. Speaking of coaches and play callers, isn't Cam Cameron the long time?
Dolphins,
Cam Cameron. I hope
Indiana,
Cam Cameron.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hazelton has hardly played. I've seen him on. I noticed him twice, 2 snaps. I bet he's played.
They targeted him. They targeted him. Oh no, that was Knox. They targeted in the end zone. It wasn't Hazelton. But look,
they have not targeted Hazelton. I don't.
Also,
believe.
Isn't that's what we've been asking for, right? I mean, we've been saying
play the guys who touch the ball, and Towski Dove made a nice catch. He's gotten a lot of run. He started. He's played most of the game. So I don't know. I need to take a look at this pass interference. But upon first look, it did not look like a.
Yeah, I know the people in the comments are upset. You're somehow like 10 seconds ahead of me now, so I'm just about to see it. That's an awful call. I mean,
that's incidental contact.
That's dreadful. I'll say this, though. This is the one thing that I think college football does right over the NFL. Pass interference should be a 15-yard penalty, not a spot foul. Because, if that's called in the NFL, they get the ball at the opposing 45-yard line.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're calling here. And how is that guy calling it?
I didn't even notice where the play
was the guy.
But, I mean, to me, you hear the phrase incidental contact. That's textbook incidental contact.
Yeah, that was a dreadful call. I mean, just dreadful.
Another flag.
That should be picked.
So now, yeah, we've reached the point where you're like a full play behind me.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I think I'm going to open. Sometimes if I reopen it, it catches up. So I'm going to do that. I can't talk.
Oh, Dak Prescott's back in the comments. Talking about Mississippi State. That's how we know it's the real Dak.
Is Ezekiel Elliott with him? He's popular here.
We'll have to ask him. Maybe he's Bob Douglas.
Or Bob Douglas's sister.
Ooh, that's weird.
Okay, so now I've got South Carolina facing 2nd and 20. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, there was a hold on South Carolina offensive lineman on first down. Frankly, I don't know how that pass was completed.
That is a heck of a play by Nick Bolton, and a heck of a play by the quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't think
I felt like he threw that while he was the quarterback threw that while he was like in the air,
parallel to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a play by Bolton to get there.
It is.
I mean, I didn't think he had much of a chance. Yeah, he was definitely falling. That's a really nice play by Doty.
Mm-hmm. It is. Doty's made some nice plays. He just, I mean, I don't know if he can or can't, but they have not even attempted to throw downfield with him yet. And at some point, I think they have to.
They did earlier in the series. Yeah, they got a PI and then an incomplete.
Yeah, he overthrew him by 10 yards. Right.
Marcus is wanting a trophy for his first time here. Marcus, I don't really have anything for you. I appreciate it. We're glad you're hanging out with us. We don't have trophies. Maybe we should get some made.
You just give yourself a title. We've got the Breakfast King.
Right.
I'd say I've seen his name pop up enough tonight that he can claim like a princehood or something. Maybe be an archduke. Also, Akil Byers is back, and he got a sack.
That was Rakestraw that got that, though.
Oh, just kidding.
I mean, Rakestraw was at least there first. I don't know who's officially going to get it.
Oh, yes. You're yeah.
There you go.
It was definitely Rakestraw.
Mitchell Bennett says best commenter joins the broadcast for Georgia. They can replace you because you'll actually be at the stadium. So maybe it'll just be like, maybe I'll just like Skype up Justin Ferguson doing Jaeger bombs on the broadcast. Or Bob Douglas. Maybe I'll have him on.
I would like to know if he's a real person.
Okay, so now I waited to make sure that they actually caught that punt before I said this. But here's the point you're at now, is that all you basically have to do now is one thing right, and you're going to win this game. If you get one stop or one score or even like 4 first downs and just take time off the clock, this game's over. You are now at the point where we were against Kentucky, in 2018 with 6 minutes left or whatever. Basically, they have to do absolutely everything right to win this game. And it's
right.
Not possible.
And after having done almost nothing right offensively to this point. I just checked. South Carolina has 7 punts. I mean,
yeah. Eric Mullins wants to know when we've got Power Mizzou gear coming from 573 Tees. We got to work on that. We'll get something done with those.
We do. Yeah.
It's coming. Joe M wants the Power Mizzou turnover robe. That'd be all right.
I'm a little disappointed we haven't had a turnover in this game or a fist fight.
Well, there has been a turnover, but I don't think they should. I mean, that would have been really sweet if they went over and gave the turnover robe to Connor Bazelak after he threw a pick.
That would have been that probably wouldn't be a good idea.
So, I don't know, Mitch. Basically, when we reach the point where it's kind of in hand, whether, if they kind of drive for a while, feel free, if you got to go do your stuff, just let me know, and we'll round it out, and then we'll see you on the computer again in half an hour.
Sounds good. I will watch probably this possession, or at least we'll see what happens.
Justin is volunteering to do Jaeger shots on the next game broadcast, so we will see. Scott Clark nominates Scott Forrest active for Arkansas game coverage. I don't know who Scott Forrest is, I don't think. But who do you guys think is winning the national championship? I mean, look, I don't know if I think Alabama's the best team, but I haven't seen anybody that consistently looks as good as Alabama.
Yeah, they're safe. They're the safe pick. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't overly impressed with Ohio State today. Clemson obviously has, I mean, they've lost the game. They look fine, but they've looked flawed. So I'd pick Alabama if I had to pick one today, but Clemson would be close behind.
I want to take a minute to recognize Justin Ferguson's self-discipline. Apparently, he actually only drinks Jaeger when they score. Like, I don't know if I believe that, but good for you.
Maybe he's drinking other things in the meantime, but Jaeger is for his score.
Okay, Scott Clark is clarifying he wants Scott Cruz to be on the Arkansas broadcast. And Mitch, you may not be familiar with Scott, but he is a excellent guy. Really like the guy. Maybe the most angry in-game Mizzou fan commenter on Twitter that is around. So
excellent.
Yeah, he gets extremely unhappy with every Mizzou.
Sounds like what we actually do need on the YouTube channel. A little more fire.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but it's hard to get like there's just not that much emotion about this game. It's just there. Like I don't even know how do we write about this? It just happened.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. I've been trying to think about that lately. I mean, I guess it's just going to be like, yeah, the defense played well with no Ryan Walters and some players missing. Because, there's nothing to write about from offense. I mean, a note about Larry Roundtree.
Right?
Yeah, but
I feel as if the notebook might deserve a section on Cade Musser's returned punt sparking them.
Musser returns first punt of the season
for 4 yards or whatever.
With that.
Yeah.
They'll just write the story. Cade Musser caught a punt and returned it 6 yards, and Missouri beat South Carolina 17-30.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, I mean, we said all Missouri had to do was one thing right. They did not do that one thing on this drive. Right?
Yeah.
And that was just a bad throw. I mean, he wasn't open, so we wasn't going to complete it, but that shot of Barrett Bannister really made me realize how empty the sideline looks in this game.
I know.
Like, there's just nobody on it. T-Rise wants to write about the season record for return yards. I agree. Bazelak hasn't been great. I agree. He's been okay. He hadn't been terrible, but he hadn't been great, right?
Yeah, he's been relatively inaccurate. I mean, he hasn't made any huge mistakes. He had an underthrown ball.
That was really nice punt coverage. Who was that first guy down? 49? It was Daniel Hawthorne.
Really?
Yeah. Really nice coverage
nowadays.
He didn't make the tackle, but he definitely held the guy up long enough.
I see that Mike Ruth is still wearing number 85. I guess he's an emergency tight end these days.
It appears so, yeah. Is this the first win without Larry running for 100 yards? At this point, yes, and he would need 49 more to get there.
Yes, it would be. Mm-hmm.
And it seems unlikely. So again, you get a stop here, probably the game's over, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not 100%, but you'd have to feel really good about it. Again, it'd be back in that Kentucky territory where, yeah, you'd have to do everything wrong to a team and against a team that has done almost nothing right. Josh
Capron, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Again, another first name that I'm just recognizing for the first time. Special teams for the win this game. Yeah, special teams has been pretty good. McGinnis has pinned them deep a couple times. They've handled all the punts.
The timeout on the punt, people didn't like that.
Yeah, that
actually cost Eli Drinkwitz' future job. So disappointing there, but the special teams has been solid. I mean,
that was a pretty nice throw by Doty. I mean, it was like clearly South Carolina started the wrong quarterback. It seems like, right?
But it didn't count because they held. So yeah, yes, it does seem that way though. But,
you just got super quiet, Mitch.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You just got much quieter for some reason.
Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know what I said before I got quiet.
Okay. I'm sure it was very important.
Oh, 100 always.
But yeah, once again, South Carolina just kind of seems like it thinks it's the middle of the second quarter here.
Yeah, I mean, just really, I mean, they're just not a threat to throw the ball down
Do anything
whatsoever.
Right. I mean, they're still. It seems like they should be at midfield. They're at their own 28-yard line. Mm-hmm. You know, Justin brings up a good
part
point.
Of that was the hold, but yeah.
Yeah, Justin brings up a good point though, and look, this coaches will never admit it, but this absolutely factors into the way Eli Drinkwitz is calling plays. It's almost like the offense knows they won't come back and they're going through the motions. Yes, there is something to that. They think 17 points is enough to win this game, and I know you would like to think that guys don't do that. As I say that, he hits like a 30-yard pass to midfield, you know, but
yeah. I was reading the comments and someone said, Casey Salt said the greased backup QB. He's since corrected to dreaded, but I was hoping
I like greased.
I was hoping Doty was going to slip through like 8 tacklers and they were going to compare him to a greased pig.
All right, so we're down under 8 minutes. I mean, Missouri needs a stop. South Carolina is also in go for it on 4th down territory at this point.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That was it. Speaking of dreadful, that throw was horrendous.
It was.
Dak wants to know about Trevor Lawrence. Dak's just bored asking about everything. I have no thoughts on Trevor.
He's probably laid up working on rehab. He's probably not a very exciting time for Dak. That's why he's watching us.
Right. I hope there's something better on TV than us. But.
Oh, there's not. There's definitely not. Dak, probably you're a better quarterback scout than us since you play it in the NFL. But, I mean, I'm guessing, yes, Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jets.
That's rough for – I mean, Missouri had that played pretty well, and then Doty just took off. They were in man coverage, and there was just nobody. Mm-hmm. I do like how if this game gets close, it's going to be our fault for pretending this game wasn't close, though, Mitch. Like,
yes, they heard us.
It's 100% happening.
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that Eli Drinkwitz actually has this playing through his headset.
Trey Williams is hurt here, so.
Ooh, I mean, not ideal.
This is not the place you can start losing guys at defense. I mean, Byers is back, so that's good, but. I mean, you're going to see Chris Turner, I would assume, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, T-Rise, if I'd say that Missouri wasn't prepared for the running QB. But these guys have made more plays, and like again,
the vast majority, almost all of his successful runs have been scrambles.
Scrambles, right?
Yeah, and like maybe you don't have someone spying because the plan was for Connor Hill to be the quarterback, but like I don't know, like. I still think, given where we are in the game, like a quarterback scrambling for 10 yards is not the end of the world. You still want to just keep things in front of you at this point.
Right.
So.
This guy has 8 carries for 53 yards. And also, like, let's remember, this is a team whose defensive coordinator isn't at the game.
Right, that's true. Harder to make in-game adjustments when your defensive coordinator isn't there.
And not that David Gibbs can't do it, but, he's not the normal guy.
Mm-hmm. Someone's commenting that I have coronavirus because I sneezed.
Oh,
hopefully it won't transmit via the broadcast.
T-Rise says it's 100% our fault if they lose, so I'm good with that. I'll wear that. Todd says Drinkwitz has to win, and this is the kind of game Barry lost. I mean, he lost a couple of them, yeah. There's no question. Yeah. A couple more than he should have. South Carolina still have the timeouts? All 3? Do we know? Yes.
South Carolina has 3 timeouts, yes.
Also, the stat feed appears to be frozen because I know there's not 9 minutes and 27 seconds left in this game.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Good call.
By reading the comments, I have become convinced Missouri is trailing 17-3.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Mitchell Bennett's still confident. So
like, I sort of get it. Like, it's just,
oh yeah,
it's hard to muster, like, a ton of, like, wow, this is awesome
oh it's not
when yeah, you haven't scored in, an hour or however long it's been. Like, it's not been fun to watch.
right. Haven't seen the game so far. How's the offense looked? I'd say not very good.
Yeah, no,
Good
not really.
enough, often enough,
The best
but
best player has been Tyler Beatty for
yeah,
sure.
or Kiki Chisholm, maybe second. Kowski Dove made a couple nice catches. Jackson says, sorry I'm late, but why didn't Drink go for it on fourth down, or why not take another delay of game instead of wasting the timeout? I agree with the second one more than the first. Look, it's easier to go back now and say, yeah, they should have gone for it if you know South Carolina is driven to the Missouri 40 anyway. But at the time, we were both okay with punting, but they did waste a timeout they didn't need to waste.
Yeah, basically it was, you make a team that hasn't gone past your 30-yard line all game, which they've now done, of course, but drive the length of the field 2 times and stop you, and when they haven't done any of that really. So I was okay too, but yeah, I agree. There's no reason to take the timeout, which they didn't do the first time, but they did the second, I guess, because there was someone running onto the field late or not set or whatever.
And this is what Doty's bringing that the starter didn't, Colin Hill didn't. Like, look, Missouri is covering very well. They're getting some pressure, but he's getting away, and that's what he's added that they didn't have.
The rare Chris Turner sack, I gotta say, that is that you don't see that every day.
Hank Q, Mizzou alum in Oakland, California, joining us. So appreciate you jumping on, Hank. We got a lot of new names this week, a lot of good traffic. So hopefully, wait, did we get a late hit on the sideline here?
Yeah, yep. So people are. I think it's targeting on Martez Manuel. It was definitely. I saw him fly in there after Chris Turner had him wrapped up. I'm watching a replay now, so let me withhold judgment here. Oh, I thought he almost looks like he hits Chris Turner more than he hits Doty.
Well, they called it targeting. So they're going to review.
It's not a smart play. Like, you do want people flying to the ball, but when the quarterback is wrapped up and going out of bounds, you don't probably want to duck your head like that. But I'm still not sure he actually really even contacted Doty's head. He hit. I thought he hit Chris Turner.
Yeah, I think he was trying to hit him in the head. I just don't think he did.
Yeah. That would be a tough blow to lose him for the first half of next game as well.
Arkansas. But look, we talked about it in the third quarter. He's been barking all night. Like, this is not an accident. And this happened with this team last year. We talked about it with Jarvis Ware in the first quarter. Like, it's got to get under control. I understand why that's a flag. He was trying to hit the quarterback out of bounds. I don't know if he actually did it. I think personal foul, maybe. Targeting, I don't really see.
Apparently, its targeting is going to get overturned. I've now learned.
But it was a personal foul, right? I mean, it's a late hit. He clearly, the quarterback was out of bounds. No targeting. So that's big
for Missouri. This is South Carolina's first time in the red zone.
Yeah. That's big for Missouri.
But yeah, that's big because
not just now, but because of next week.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, heck, because you also know, first of all, he's a starter and a good player, but also you never know with COVID numbers if one guy being out for targeting could make the difference.
Right. Mitchell says he's old enough to remember when Missouri didn't average 10 penalties a game. Let's see what they have tonight. 7 for 77, which actually is fewer than South Carolina at 10 for 81, but still too many.
Yeah. Nick Bolton almost had a pick right there.
Oh, and
South Carolina's got called for holding about 14 times.
Right.
I know you said they only have 10 penalties, but at least 14 holding calls.
That should have been a pick by Bolton. I mean, look, there's a reason he plays linebacker. We get it, but he should have intercepted that ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's see how long the South Carolina drive is. It's been 3 minutes of game time, but they've had the ball for an hour and a half.
Yeah. This game, it's actually wild. This game's been really nothing has happened, but still somehow we're already about at 3 hours. College football takes too long, man.
Oh, no question. Auburn has beaten Tennessee. Georgia is leading Mississippi State. How about South Carolina, though, going from scoring 42 to scoring 3 and giving up 59 to giving up 17?
Yeah, kind of wild. Partially because Ole Miss, doesn't stop anyone and also runs like a play every 4 seconds.
Right.
But still.
Marcus is asking if the SEC's down this year. We'll talk about that after this play. That's a nice tackle by Jarvis Ware. Because if he misses that tackle, you're looking at South Carolina being in like the 6-yard line. But yes, the SEC clearly is down this year, right? There's Alabama at level 1, Florida and A&M at level 2, and everybody else.
The middle of the league is bad. I mean, a lot of times, we'll have years where there's a clear separation between the top and the middle, but you'll have teams like like Tennessee being a top 25-ish type team, or one of the Mississippi schools be up, or something like that, and the middle of the league is bad right now.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I think that throw to the end zone was the worst throw I've ever seen.
It wasn't good.
It was not close.
I would say it was uncatchable.
So third and 15 again, 2 plays because South Carolina is going for it because a field goal doesn't.
They got about 10, 11 yards on the 3rd and 15.
Okay, so you're gonna have 4th and 4.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, everyone is hurt.
Jeez, that's also a nice tackle by Rakestraw, though. So you're looking at 4th and 5, right?
Yeah, and
Trey Williams, by the way, is back in the game.
And if South Carolina doesn't convert this 4th and 5, it's really over because they've wasted so much of the clock.
Right.
Oh, they did.
Oof. I mean, I'd like to see a replay on that because, he was pretty close to the sideline. That's Jarvis Ware who's down for Missouri.
Yeah.
Did they show a replay where? Because, I don't think it's impossible he stepped out of bounds before he jumped. You can't really tell from.
I mean, Mizzou's going to run out of bodies on defense.
Yeah.
This is kind of a concern. Their 2 most thin spots were probably defensive end and corner, and they've lost one of each here on this drive.
Have you seen anything that shows what happened to Ware?
He the running back kind of leans into him, gives him kind of a helmet and a shoulder, and then he gets landed on. So first he kind of gets maybe a stinger type thing, and then but I think worse was 81 lands on him.
Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that could be any number of things.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't.
I guess it looks like, I mean, the ref just talked and signaled first down, so they must have gone back and taken a look.
Yeah, they've spotted it at the 3, but it should be closer to the 1.
Yeah. Well, I thought he did kind of step out of bounds with the second foot before he like really got into the dive. All right, I guess we've got a game. That's
not going to ruin this, but it's about to get interesting, I think.
So, I know we've already done so much of bringing up past Mizzou, South Carolina stuff, but you know what this game reminds me of?
Yes, I know. Go ahead, though.
Matty Mock leading Missouri back after they had done absolutely zero, and then scoring 2 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes.
Was that 2014 or 15?
14.
14, right. Because 15 was Drew Lock's first start. Yeah, I mean, I thought of that during that last drive. Like, it was the worst offensive performance I think I've ever seen. And then all of a sudden...
until Florida, which was like the next week.
Right. Then all of a sudden, they turn it on 120-120. I think Wesley Leftwich had a huge catch in that game. But look...
He did, that's right.
Here's the bottom line. It's time for the offense... The defense has played well enough to win this game. It's time for the offense to help out. You know, I mean, the offense needs to... You've now, for the first time all night, you've got a game. At this point, South Carolina doesn't have the ball with the chance to tie. It is the offense's job to never give them the ball with the chance to tie. Whether that means running out the clock or scoring, one of those two things, that is now the offense's job.
I would agree.
Do we think they onside kick? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't.
Because, I'd kick it deep to an offense that has done nothing.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, Mitchell's asking for how many tackles Bolton has. He has 13, 7 solos, 2 for a loss. Nobody else on Missouri's team has more than 6, so he's been fairly active.
Yeah, he's been good. I still think he's been the best player on the field, but I mean, I think a little bit part of that last drive was I think Missouri's defense just kind of got worn down a little bit. They've been on the field a ton in the second half because the offense has done nothing. Yeah.
Let's look at time of possession for the game.
I was just doing the same here.
South Carolina 29, Missouri 25, so it's not crazy lopsided.
Yeah.
Might have been a little bit different at halftime. I don't have halftime stats.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of add it up here. Looks like South Carolina's roughly, let's see. South Carolina's had it for about 14 minutes in the second half. Missouri's had it for about
10.
Yeah, about 10.
Something like that. Yeah.
About 11.
Maybe. Yeah, so it's I mean, look, it's time for the offense to go get something done.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you were right when you said like the defense has really kind of done its part, but eventually, like people are saying I've seen the occasional comment like what happened to the defense or defense falling apart. Like you can't expect the team to
they've given up 10 points
or keep a team out of the end zone in football these days. Your offense has to get it done at a certain point.
Yeah, no question. No question. So we'll see. And you can't. You're now past the point of we're just running clock. You got to go make something happen here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not saying trick plays or deep throws.
Do what it takes to get a first down.
Yeah.
So the question here, then the real question is, at what point do I start writing some takeaways?
I don't know, man. Podcast? I don't know. It's a risk.
It is. Apparently, the kickoff is out of bounds, so that's good for Missouri.
Yes.
I mean, just get you closer to a field
we've got
goal,
a new one. It's Missouri started playing poorly when I put on my glasses. So.
Oh,
That
is
could be
yeah,
it.
That's 100% it.
That could be it.
Yeah, I think we found the culprit.
Yeah, I agree with Cam Cameron. Like, yeah, you want to run the clock, but they're going to have to throw the ball some. I mean, they haven't run the ball very well in this. They've got 29 carries for 95 yards. That's, or I wouldn't mind like a jet sweep or a little something different in the run game.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, we really haven't seen very much creativity in the running game, which is unusual.
They've had the Roundtree at Wildcat a couple times.
That's true. You're right. We've had that from, and yeah, 3 running backs in the game. You're right. Not as much though, using the receivers, getting the ball on the edge that way.
Right.
So,
I mean, bare minimum, you need a couple first downs. Bare.
Yes. Yeah, 3 and out, and you start to get real nervous. So that play we just saw, I don't know if you've seen it, but little swing pass to Jalen Knox. That's basically an extension of the running game. That's using a receiver in the run game creatively.
Did he fumble that ball?
He did, but it went out of bounds.
Yeah. I mean,
which is a fortunate break.
You can't fumble there. You can't fumble there. Yeah. All right. So Georgia has beaten Mississippi State. Everything else is a final. All right. So what do you do? What do you do?
I just watched the second down play. We're looking at 3rd and 2.
Yeah. What do you do on 3rd and 2? I mean, I think you got to trust to run the ball. I think you got to. I don't know.
I think you have some sort of a quick hitting passing play, either quick slant or like a little maybe like a sprint out type of deal.
Okay.
I think you can. I think you should be able to trust your quarterback to get a couple of yards here, but we'll see.
I think you should be able to trust almost anything to get a couple yards.
Right, that's true. But the run game, I mean, just hadn't really been working. Well, that's a nice play.
That's a good little drag to Kiki Chisholm. I like that.
Although there's a flag, and I now realize what it is. Comments.
I mean,
that hurts.
Look, the story of this game is clearly penalties. If it ends up going all the way.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a replay here.
Same.
They're having a long discussion about whether this is offensive PI or not. I mean, if it is, it's going to be 3rd and 17, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have a play for that.
Maybe 3rd and 12. Yeah. There's no foul for offensive pass
interference,
it appears. I wonder. I couldn't hear the full description because we don't have volume. I wonder if it has to do with like proximity to the line of scrimmage, because I know there's that 1 yard buffer where you are allowed to kind of block.
Right.
I'm watching a replay though.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't think he ever got to him. Like, he was trying to, but I don't think he ever actually did it.
Yeah. I think it was the 1 yard. I think it's the 1 yard buffer
Maybe.
That helps him there.
Okay, so now you're
allowed to do that within 1 yard.
Now you're across midfield. Now I run the ball and make them use timeouts.
Yes.
Nico Hayen is an H-back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they've pretty much got to start using their timeouts, right? Okay, so Mitchell, they're saying it wasn't offensive PI because the pass was behind the line of scrimmage.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense.
I got to disagree with Justin. He's calling for play action pass. I'd run and make him use the timeout. Although, I mean, there's still a lot of time left, but
yeah, I wouldn't hate it, but yeah, I wouldn't hate it.
I'm looking at this way. Run twice more. You don't get the first down. You punt it down to the 10-yard line, and you make them go 90 yards in 2 minutes with no timeouts. I mean, because even
a lot of time in college.
Even last time when they went 90 yards, it took them 6 minutes.
That's true. That's true. And they can't throw it downfield.
I'd run on second down, and then that kind of determines what you do on third down. To me.
Yeah.
Breakfast King's asking about Beatty's runs. He's had 6 carries for 23. Roundtree's had 21 for 58. So Beatty's been better, but neither one of them's really been good running the ball.
Yeah. No, there's not been much room to run. The most effective running has been actually out of the Wildcat, but obviously you can't do that on 2nd and 8. I mean, probably not.
And look, Larry Roundtree is this team's guy. He's going to get these carries. I understand why you're asking for Beatty, but he's going to get the carries here.
Right, and I mean, Beatty's fine if you can get him in space, but you're not getting someone in space.
Right, and this isn't like Larry Roundtree is missing gigantic holes.
I think the offensive line is. I mean, look, they're playing a third stringer and a backup right now.
They're playing an offensive guard at tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, so 3rd and 6. Now I throw the ball. There's too much time left, I think, just to worry about, hey, make them use their last time out. Now I throw it. And now I also consider if I get down to 4th and 2 or something, that's when I think about going for it and winning the game.
Yeah, and that's when I probably think about putting Roundtree back there in that Wildcat again.
Yes. So
get to a short yardage situation.
So I know some of you guys have already seen the 3rd down play. That's cool. I'm going to watch it live because, whatever. We're going to see how it goes. I mean, you're at, the 39-yard line. I actually think you're in 2-down territory, maybe almost no matter what.
Oh, I don't know.
It depends. I guess it depends. We'll see. I don't get the feeling this is going to turn out very well for Missouri.
Well, yeah, he threw a very covered Nico Hay.
I mean, that had no chance. Okay, so Graham McKinnis is about to be MVP, I think.
Yeah, really, actually MVP. It's a notebook item.
It's maybe the story, honestly. They punted 2 times from inside the opponent's 40 to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to hop off then.
Okay.
And I'll be watching, but I'm going to start writing so I can get these takeaways up in time for Drake's press conference.
And hope they turn out right.
Thanks everyone for hanging out with us, though. This was a good turnout.
All right. We'll see you, Mitch.
Later.
Have a good one. All right. So just me with you guys the last, 2:37 here. Look, I mean, you got to go 99 yards in 2 minutes and 37 seconds, and your defense has been pretty good all night. You'll take this. It feels like it's closer than it should be. But, also, all you need is a win. It's not a beauty contest. It's all you need to win, and they're in position to do that. Now, they haven't done it yet, obviously, but, they're a couple plays away from doing it. Jackson, absolutely not. Missouri and South Carolina will never play a normal game. They don't play. Actually, last year was kind of normal. It was like 34-14. Nothing super unusual happened. But no question, Justin. It's closer than it should be. No question. Missouri has been more than 7 points better than South Carolina. But, again, he was 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. He wasn't really 5 yards. He was like 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. But that was pretty easy. So that's going to make it, 3rd and 12, something like that? 3rd and 8? Either way, Missouri now, 2 plays away, because if South Carolina doesn't get it, they have to go for it on 4th down from their own 4-yard line. Okay, so you guys are a little ahead of me. I'm waiting to see what Doty does. It's obviously pretty impressive. First of all, nearly out of safety. Yeah, that was a nice play. Moves the sticks. Minute 55, they've got to go 80 yards. So, look, I think South Carolina's got a new quarterback for the rest of the season, first of all. See, Bryce, I get why you're saying you know how this ends, but look, they did this in the Kentucky game and they hung on and won. Against LSU, they made a goal line stand at the 1 yard line and won. So, this team has not melted at the end of close games this year. In fact, they've won their only two close games. Every time they've lost, it's been a blowout. But the two close games they've won. So I think South Carolina, again, they just wasted 30 seconds after that last play. I mean, you guys, South Carolina took 45 seconds to get 3 yards. They have one timeout, but they're, Missouri's still in the driver's seat, but I get it. It's not over. I understand why you're nervous. Yeah, Josh is right. You rush three. This is why you force him to take a risk if he's going to find an open receiver, and he hasn't been able to do that so far. He's made some plays, but overall, you know, finding guys in this coverage hadn't been a strength so far. And again, Missouri will give up the 6 yard pass. Missouri can live with that for a while. You can't let anybody behind you is the key, and you got to tackle. All right, so I'm not putting the comments up for you guys who are on a little bit of a streaming delay like me, because I don't want to wreck it for you guys. So I think the second 10 play is going to be important, though. I mean, just right to him. That Devin Nicholson, he gets down. That is a scheme interception. Doty never saw him. Nice play by the sophomore. You're gonna have victory formation. Devin Nicholson gets to wear the turnover robe. It's all in all a win on the road against South Carolina. So you take that in a heartbeat. Devin Nicholson going to wear that turnover robe all the way home. We are just rolling through your guys' comments. Appreciate everybody who took some time to hang out with us. Thank you guys so much for making this worthwhile. I'm going to update the stats page real quick just so you guys can see kind of what the final numbers are, or the final numbers, before a couple kneel downs. They ended up being closer than they were most of the night. South Carolina was much better in the second half. Missouri was the better team. It didn't end up being quite as dominant as it looked like it was going to be at first. But still, Missouri clearly the better team. They come out with a win. It should have been easier. There's definitely things to work on, but Missouri sitting 3-3, solid third place in the SEC East, and they've beaten Kentucky and South Carolina. I mean, that's a successful year one. I think if you get a win against Arkansas next week, it's like a wildly successful year one. I somehow managed to just totally minimize this. I don't know how I did it, but there we go. Turnovers ended up even at 1. So Missouri comes out in the other Columbia with the win. They win the Mayor's Cup, 17-10 overall. Again, we are one win away from an absolutely unqualified success by Eli Drinkwitz in year 1. I think we're pretty close to there, but we're not all the way there. But they beat Kentucky. They beat South Carolina. Hey, you're pretty good. So there's a lot to build on here. Don't forget, they had 50 guys. They didn't have the defensive coordinator. You got things to learn, but you're doing it after a win. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to end this. I appreciate everybody being here. I hope you'll all come back for the postgame show. I'm going to log off. I'm going to get on Eli Drinkwitz's Zoom call. Then we will come back on the postgame show, and we're going to play Drinkwitz's press conference and take your calls. So thanks for hanging out. Everybody enjoyed it. Great turnout. Thanks from Mitch. Thanks to Call Gentry Law Group. And I'll be back in about 30 minutes on the post-game drink.